pretty much making some judgments about
Mhm.
me and some other people at
Mhm.
large, uh,
Mhm.
my choice of clothing, and maybe some psychology behind me. Uh, and then that's it in a nutshell.
What
Well,
psychology would do you think
well,
I recognized, Corey?
I mean,
Just
what
out of
was the
curiosity.
original tweet so people understand? Like, you gotta give
Yeah,
context
what
here.
did Sarah actually say in the original tweet that she
If I
posted?
remember correctly, well, I can just give me a few seconds to look it up exactly. Doo-doo. I believe it was men wearing sweatpants in public gives me the ick or an ick so intensely I cannot even begin to describe. Uh, and I quote tweeted and I said I love the self report and screenshotted a psychological study.
Yes, the psychological study's name is the ick, and then colon discuss sensitivity, narcissism, and perfectionism in mate choice thresholds. And the highlighted part in vomit green states narcissism correlated with the likelihood, but not the frequency, of experiencing the ick, indicating that narcissistic people may selectively reject partners based on specific perceived flaws. And there's more that comes after that.
Yes, that is true. I highlighted that.
Why did you highlight that?
Because, well, that's the main finding of the study. That may or may not apply to that person.
So you didn't post that study with any intention of casting aspersions on that person's character, on what she was like?
I said I love the self report. So yeah, I'm hinting at that. That might apply to you.
So
Absolutely.
do you think then was the point then of posting an article about narcissism in response to her making like a one-off comment about sweatpants was just maybe indicate that she might be a narcissist and that's why she made the comment?
Yes, that is a fair, as in how you conduct yourself and the words that you use is a reflection of you and your
Mhm,
values and maybe who you are. Absolutely.
mhm. And as you know, I screenshotted this and I gave my response and my analysis of what I think is really going on here, which I don't think this has anything really to do. I mean, maybe it has something to do with narcissism, but I really think that like this whole back and forth is really just an example of class signaling. And that's basically like what I said, like in my response.
Now we should add another bit of context because I believe the person that I responded to, her name is Sarah. I believe she responded to your tweet as well. Is that true?
It is true, actually. She quote tweeted it, but then she deleted the quote tweet later, and
And
she
and do,
asked like, "What the fuck are you on about?" And then I explained, and then she
oh, okay.
deleted it.
So she didn't even appreciate your tweet
What
characterizing
did
my
she?
tweet.
What did she respond to your tweet?
No, no, no. She said, I think whatever, touch grass, or basically, or it's not that complicated, not that deep. Touch grass, something like to that
Mhm.
effect.
Yeah. So I think that she was embarrassed because if you go through her Twitter and you're free to go through it, basically like what I stated, like in my and you can read like exactly what I said. I don't really feel like, regurgitating every word that I wrote, but basically that this to me seems like a woman who lives in New York City and she seems to feel like insecure about the fact that she has less money than her friends do. And she's trying to make it. She's trying, and you can see in her photograph, you can see in a lot of examples like and like throughout her Twitter, in my opinion, seem to be an example of somebody that doesn't have a lot of money that's trying to fit in with a class of people that have more money than she does. And so when she made the comment of sweatpants like totally give me the ick or whatever it was that she said, what she's trying to do is she's trying to say that she doesn't like it like when men go out in public and they dress as though they're poor. She's making a classist comment. That's what she's doing. She is saying, and because sweatpants, this particular type of sweatpants that she seems to be talking about, appear to me to be working class coded. So we're not talking about, a guy in a tracksuit, running through the city, stopping up for coffee. We're talking about somebody that's going out to Walmart, out in the world with a Walmart pair of gray Hanes that are hanging on for dear life with the drawstrings that look like they're going to fall apart in like 2 to 3 years, that were, badly stitched and probably aren't well taken care of and weren't selected for anything other than the fact that they are disposable or comfortable to wear. That's effectively like what she's criticizing, like in that article. And the reason why she's criticizing it is because she herself, in my opinion, seems to be economically insecure and she's trying to boost her the perception of her own status by doing this, which is a common thing for a lot of people to do. It's common for people that like when they feel insecure about their own status or about how much money they have to pretend to be snobby about things like, oh, well, I only drink this type of coffee, or oh, I only have this type of beer. Music is another example of like how people like try to inflate their status. They pretend to be really snobby about obscure pieces of music that no one's ever heard of or cares about. That's to me what I perceive her doing. And I've known people that have done that before. And generally, I think it's typically bad form to point it out. The good thing, though, I think that like if somebody seems like they're insecure about their status and they make a crass throwaway comment, that the best thing to do is to pretty much just ignore it and to leave it alone. And if you respond to it, and if you respond defensively to it, that to me indicates a type of insecurity on your own part, which is the assessment that I made of you, like within my tweet.
Absolutely. So I'm curious, who do you think is making more judgments about the person? Me or you?
Oh, I think I definitely am making more judgments, but I think unlike you, I think like I am making the judgment only because you instigated this. So I am like the only
Well,
reason
wait.
I would ever
Well,
make a comment like this is
based
because
off
you
your
instigated
perception,
it.
what
what's wrong with
judgment
her
did I
position
make?
now?
What judgment did I make?
Yeah, the judgment that you made is that you tried to indicate that you think that she. Oh, I think Doobie's talking, by the way. I don't want to talk over him. Are you talking, Doobie? We can't hear you.
He's muted.
His
If
mouth is
he,
moving.
yeah, he's probably talking to his
Oh, his
supposedly
wife.
hot wife, who I've never seen
Okay.
before because he hasn't shown me a picture of her. But go ahead.
Okay. By the way, Doobie, congratulations on your son. That's really fun. Congratulations. I never got to say that to you. So that's really cool. But anyway, but listen, I do not hide the fact that I'm being judgmental, but I am being judgmental of both of you to explain the real dynamics of what's happening here. And the dynamics of what's happening here is you are punching at a person who is trying to cover up their own insecurity because you yourself are insecure. That's what I'm saying.
Okay, and do you think you're accurate in your assessments of everything else in the tweet?
I mean, like obviously, like it's surmise. I would never be able to know for sure. And I also question because I am personally insulting you, like in this tweet, like whether or not you
Which
would
is
ever
fine.
actually truly be honest
But
about anything in this tweet.
well,
to be honest.
let's go down the rabbit hole. Let's go down the rabbit hole. So I
I don't know if
believe
you want to do that.
I'm more than happy to do that. So I believe
Okay.
so. You judge me as insecure, and you judge
Gibbs,
me.
we can hear whatever you're doing with your
You judge
hands.
me as I believe of lower class. Is that a fair
No,
assessment?
that is not a fair assessment. That is not what I said.
So then, what would be the fair assessment?
You, in my opinion, based off of the way that you are behaving here, are most likely middle class.
Okay,
That is my assessment.
And based off of your definition, what is middle class to you? And would you say, and like out of curiosity, if you want to say, like, are you just basing that off of my tweet alone, or like what you know about me generally? Because obviously we've interacted
She just called you a
before.
brokey. Holy shit.
Yeah, that's fine. We'll get to that.
So I invoked a book, which is an interesting book about class. It's by Paul Fussell. It was published in 1983. It's very interesting. It's actually a really interesting read. I'd really recommend checking it out sometime. So what it talks about is like classism in the United States. And the thesis that he has is that classism is not simply about income, although it has something to do with income. It has to do with the values that you hold, what it is that you care about, what it is that you feel insecure about, who it is that you're definitely desperately trying not to be. And if you read through the book, it talks about like habits regarding clothes, habits regarding housing choices, about college. It's very interesting because the book was published in 1983, and he talks about like the expansion of university and getting a university degree as the entrance to trying to be middle class. And basically his opinion that like the status that used to be associated with universities was gone, and it had left like approximately in the 1960s when a ton of universities began exploding around the country, which is like one of his parts. But basically like what he says is that the thing that separates you in terms of class is not really, it's too simplistic to say that it's about the money that you have in your bank or how much income that you have. It has to do with, you know, where did you go to school? You know, like how do you speak? You know, like what choices do you make? How do you make the decisions that you make with your purchases, like when you go out into the world? And what I am saying is that like the way that you behaved in this tweet and the overall affect of this conversation from you, quite frankly, denotes middle class values. That is what I'm saying.
Could you be more like, so that if it's not tied to income, like what exactly is it tied to?
So it's one of the things, the one aspect of middle class that's denoted like within his book is he claims that a lot of it has to do with insecurity and striving and discipline. So middle class people typically like to show off the fact that they work hard, that they're disciplined, and that they have credentials, that they care about the rules, they care about following procedures. In your case, when I was just curious because I looked at your Instagram, and you'll never guess like what it was I found when I went there. I found,
It's there, yeah.
this picture here, and I found a couple of other pictures of you in sweatpants here. And I have to say, I think that I think that my assessment about the insecurity thing is true. I think it's absolutely true that you reacted to this girl's tweet because you dress this way, as these pictures denote here.
Wait,
on your public page.
wait. Well, read your tweet. Read your part of the tweet of the clothing. There's brands there. Are those Amazon brands?
No, okay, you okay, this is what I was saying to you earlier in the Corey. You are somebody who focuses and obsesses over the rules and not the logic behind why those rules exist. The purpose of me talking about Amazon, the purpose of me talking about Amazon brands is that you, in my opinion, if I were to look at the types of things that you wear, you probably get things that try to mimic upper middle class male rationalist aesthetics of people that go into STEM degrees. So you probably try to mimic an expensive nothingness in the way that you dress, the way that you talk to people about how and why you dress. You probably say, I don't think about what I wear. I just wear what's most comfortable or what's most logical or what makes the most sense. And so some of the things you think you buy, I mean, look here. Okay. Like this, like the brand name on, like, first of all, the presence of a brand name, right? This is like I'm sorry. Like, I realize how it sounds. Okay. But when you can say whatever you want. Big logo on your thing and you're clearly demonstrating it at a public place, and not only that, but you're taking a picture of yourself to show off your effort, how hard you've worked for what you have. That is a middle class value. I'm sorry. Okay.
Pause. But you said this is a public place.
Yes. Okay.
Wait. What indicates that is public place?
It's on your public page. You are posting this in public. Do you disagree that you're posting this in public? I found this. I didn't have to dox you to find this. It is attached to your public persona. You posted this on your public Instagram that is associated with your brand.
Hold on.
You posted this in public.
Let me
took
propose a third option
of this in the gym.
Hold on.
You are trying to prove something. You are not somebody that tries to look effortlessly svelte. You want to show off how high you've striven in order to look good.
Hold on.
You work hard for those abs. You work hard for those.
Okay. Actually, we gotta let people in.
Physique is not something that comes easily. It comes through grit. It comes through discipline.
Hey. We gotta let other people in.
So
right, listen.
Okay, no. Okay, let me just say something.
I'm jumping. No, you're not saying nothing. I'm doing it now. Sorry, Corey. This is what's happening. There's a third thing that's happening right here, and this is maybe you didn't respond to this when I said this in the back room, but this is how men are slutty. Right, you've done the exact thing that most men want. You say he put his name brand shit in some shit that makes his junk look good, and then he posted the photo. And now, not only did you go look at it, you saved it to your PC.
Looked at it
you fell for it, hook, line, and sinker, bro. That is what we do.
Listen, you want to know what looks good? I already told Prime what looks good. Okay,
yeah, but you're lying. You're lying because you don't
stop it. I'm not lying.
You yourself have told me.
Do you want me to be honest with what I think does look good? I'll show it to you right now. Okay.
About how you like greasers, right? And they're like old, they're bad boys. You know what they wear? You know what they wear? Jesus. They wear sweatpants when they're working. You love this blue collar. Okay. I'm gonna grab you by the throat kind of man.
They don't work. People aren't wearing sweatpants to work. They're not working.
Okay, well,
they're wearing sweatpants to work. You know what I mean?
Unless they're coders, maybe.
They're wearing them to work.
Okay, let's dissect. So you obviously looked at my Instagram. How many pictures are there of me personally out of all the pictures that are there?
Most of them aren't pictures of you personally, but the
What
ones that are
can
show
give me-
you working.
How would
They
you, how
show
would you,
you
how, no,
striving,
summarize it,
yearning,
summarize it.
improving.
All of you
the
go to my
grit.
Instagram.
It's
All
all
of you go to my
there.
Instagram. How many pictures? Summarize my Instagram. What is the overall message of my Instagram to you?
The overall message of the Instagram that I see is you working very, very hard. Okay, that is the overall
Wait,
like vibe of this.
and how are you coming to that conclusion? What?
I am coming to that conclusion because it shows you working, first of all. The other pictures that are not of you working out are there are pictures here of your work. So you have pictures of studies that are posted here. You have pictures of you at work here that, like, for instance, like this picture of like you in the lab or of you doing things. That's an attempt to me that tries to signal status of like what
Wait,
it is that you do.
Of me in the lab, personally.
There's a picture of pictures in the lab that you must have taken because it is taken with your iPhone. I mean,
I don't have an iPhone.
Okay, fine. Like with you. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is
No.
You're, oh well, I don't have an iPhone.
This is moronic. This is moronic. Okay.
They weren't.
This is moronic. I agree. Okay, very
moronic.
moronic.
There's a picture of a lab bench. Okay, what is the caption there? What message am I trying to convey in that picture?
The message. Okay, look. Let me tell you what I see here in this lab picture. Okay, I see a picture.
What is
giant picture of pre-workout. Okay, I see a giant picture.
What's the caption? She can't engage. What is the caption? What message am I trying to convey in the post?
Show off that he's got stamina. That's the message. You're welcome.
Yes, exactly.
That's true. I do have stamina. Can you read? Can you read?
Oh
what is the caption?
Corey,
what message am I conveying?
Corey, this is what we're talking about. You know, I used to think that maybe like the reason we get into these pedantic disagreements is just that.
Well, I'm asking you a simple question.
You have like the worst case of internet
it's called flirting.
I've
That's
ever
why
seen.
But
the thing is, we all have Asperger's. Otherwise, we wouldn't all be
here. Do you have Instagram?
And I really think that this is just you henpecking at specific.
Answer the question. Can you answer a simple question? What message am I trying to convey in that post? You want to have a good faith discussion or not? So what message am I trying to convey in that post? What's the caption?
Dude, okay, we are not going to be able to have a discussion about this as long as you henpeck and you don't engage with the meat of what I'm saying.
I'm literally you brought up my Instagram. I'm engaging with what you
brought up. What am I talking about
so
your Instagram? It doesn't matter, okay? Who cares? You have a
exactly
because
you know that it makes you look bad.
Academia
you know that
you
can't back up anything that you say.
What's the point of you saying it's too feminized? It's with a giant bottle of pre-workout sitting there.
Whoa,
dude.
Okay, whoa,
like,
are you?
What do you think the point of that is? You think Ida can't see what the point of that is?
Obviously, I don't expect you to understand what goes on in the lab. Like, what do you think that is there for? What do you think? What do you think that is there for?
I wouldn't expect a woman to know what's going on in the lab either.
Yeah. What do you think that is there for?
What do I think that is there for? I think you are trying to make an ironic
No. That is there all the time. From the moment I joined the lab, I brought that in. What do you think that's?
Did you also bring the pre-workout in? And did you put it on your desk for everyone to see? I'm not surprised by that.
What do you think that is?
Okay?
What do you think that is there for?
That absolutely tracks. Okay.
What do you think that is there for?
I think that is there to show off the fact that you work very, very hard, that you like to go to the gym, that you take your health seriously, that you are disciplined about working out.
It has a utilitarian. It has a utilitarian purpose in the lab. What do you think it is?
Okay, hold on. Corey, rather than going back and forth with this, why don't you just tell her what it is so we can move on to the next point? Like, because this is not the heart of the disagreement, right?
Well, anybody that works in the lab, and you can see in the post there. If you know what a micropipette is, micropipettes have tips, little plastic tips that are disposable. Okay, and you want something to dispose into. Yes, and that's all that is there for. And that's not even the main. It's not even highlighted really in the post. That's not the message in the post. She doesn't want to read the caption because she knows it does not bolster her argument. Okay.
No, I just read it through 2 or 3 times. You were all my witnesses. Did I not say the caption 2 or 3 times?
And what do you think I'm highlighting in what is on the bench? What is on the bench?
I'm
not
going to let you talk over me. Okay. I think that you are making an ironic joke. That's what I think you're doing. Okay.
And can you summarize? Can you summarize what the joke is? What is the joke to you?
The joke is that people say that academia is becoming too feminized, and there is your giant 30-ounce of pre-workout sitting next to a lotion bottle. Okay, that is what I think the joke is.
Okay, do you think I'm highlighting the pre-workout or the moisturizer?
Also, why are we focusing on this? This is ridiculous. You have how many pictures of yourself? You have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and all of them are you in workout clothes. All of them are you like showing some kind of effort in doing things. Everything else, there is one picture
and how
here
many
of the
how many
Impossible Chicken
how many
Nuggets.
total posts are there?
There is one picture here of you. I mean, I'm sorry, I hate to say it, but literally showing your ass in sweatpants, okay, to the mirror, okay, as you're doing a handstand.
Yeah.
I mean, like
yet another picture that FQ has taken note of. I'm just putting that out there.
So how many posts
I'm
are
saying
there?
I've seen a trend, a little bit of a trend here.
How many posts are there in total? As in, are you saying the majority of my posts are of me personally?
I'm saying that the overall aesthetic of like your account and of the way that you engage with these types of things is one, you over engage with the rules and not the logic of what is being discussed. You over engage and nitpick and deliberately hammer on points because you are
logic is all about nitpicking. Like, what are some other non-me posts?
Okay, the other non-me post, okay, is of this picture of you at the supermarket where you are showing us a picture of you getting Impossible Chicken Nuggets. That is, again, to me, a sign of you showing off your diet, okay? You are showing off the fact that you are a vegan. You are not just, it's not just simply that you are a vegan, it's that you are taking a photograph of it and you are displaying it. You are trying to get validation from other people. That's the whole point of taking a picture of yourself and posting it online. It is for other people to look at. That's why you post things. Doesn't matter. You still posted it, okay? And it's attached to your brand name. That's the point, okay?
Well, what is the post next to it?
What is the post next to it? I mean, the post next to it, again, is our food production is not only unethical, but wildly inefficient. This is a screenshot of a tweet, okay, from an Angie Karan. I mean, to me, like most of this is just signaling, okay? You are signaling like your values, okay? You are signaling.
That I would disagree with. Well, everyone's doing that at all times. Like that's a meaningless statement.
Yes, they are, but correct, they are. But the point is, okay, you can tell something about a person by what values they are like signaling, and
what they notice as well. I'm just saying we can tell.
And in this case, like what I am claiming, based off of your overall, the way that you engaged with her, the reason why you engaged with her. By the way, very weird that you did that. By the way. That is clearly a shitpost throwaway comment, and you made a giant deal out of it by calling her a narcissist. It's very strange.
I made a giant deal by. I did not call her a narcissist. To be clear.
That is such bullshit. You did call her. You just posted an article indicating that people who
I have no problem. I have no problem.
I have no problem.
I have no problem. I have no problem saying. I have no problem. If you can have a conversation.
You did call her a narcissist.
You can have a conversation. I have no problem. I have no problem saying that I heavily implied or alluded to that she might be a narcissist, and I posted the study to that, but I did not call her a narcissist.
My dude, you are literally posing in a Superman t-shirt here. Like
I am, yes. Like, there's one posting of that.
Yes, okay. And like why the point that I'm trying to make here with this post, okay, is that what part of like what it is to be middle class is to value discipline, to value working hard. You show off progress pictures. You show off that you are hardworking. You show off that you are credentialed, that you show up on time. That
where do I show that I'm credentialed?
Didn't you used to say, like, isn't it in your bio that you at least used to like be pursuing a doctorate like in biochemistry? Isn't there a picture of you in a lab coat? Like, isn't that in like the heading of your Twitter bio? Is that not there? Am I wrong for thinking that that's not there? I'm pretty sure that it is. Yes. Why wear a lab coat? To signal
labeling myself as a biochemist, yes, but I'm not signaling.
Okay, guys, we've been back and forth on this Instagram profile, and this is like not the heart of the disagreement.
I would agree with you, but she brought it up. I didn't.
Yeah, she did, and we've tried to get to the bottom of that, but that's a dead end. I agree. If you guys want to continue talking about this, please, like, just get to it. I don't know anymore about this Instagram.
Okay, so from what I heard from FQ is that discipline is a middle class value. So
Correct.
Then,
yes, it is.
Okay, and what are some upper class values?
Well, I mean, that actually, so if you're going by the book, it depends on which stratum you're talking about. So if you're talking about people that are incredibly rich, so this is called the top upper out of sight.
Wait, it's not. Wait, middle class is, well, according from what I heard, class is not associated with income or like money.
I said it's not merely about income. Like it's like,
okay.
It's like necessary to an extent, but not sufficient. Okay. You can have two people of like similar income levels, but that doesn't necessarily, according to Fussell, that is, okay, that doesn't necessarily mean that they come from the same class background, right? So you could have a used car salesman, for instance, that like makes $100,000 a year, but he would still depending on like what his background is, he might be considered to be of a lower class than, say, a professor who makes $100,000 a year, right? Because it's not just about the money. It is about how you present yourself, the type of work that you do, and the values that you hold. It's not simply about money, okay? And that becomes more and more and more apparent the further up you go, which is something that he talks about also like in the book. So again, it depends like on like which stratum you're talking about. But if you are talking about people that are the true 1%ers, okay, these are people that don't value effort at all. And according to him, they, at least in 1983 anyway, they were surprisingly not intellectual people. These are people who never have to work. These are people who you will almost never see and almost never hear of. They try to live in complete anonymity. It should be assumed, like the minute that you walk into their house or the minute that you meet them, that everything is a fine value and that everything is good. So paradoxically, what this means is that if you go into their house, they actually are insulted, like if you compliment the food or if you compliment the decor, if you compliment like their behavior. Why? Because it's already assumed that everything that's being served to you is excellent. So if you compliment it, that means that when you walked into the room, you already assumed that it might possibly be bad. So you're unintentionally like revealing the fact that you think that like the people that you're going to are not necessarily as great as they could be. They also don't go to college. They are not as obsessed with intellectualism. They are not as obsessed with reading. They are not as heavily involved in debate and surprisingly not as involved in politics as you might think. Why? Because they don't need to be in order to live comfortably. Okay. They don't have that same drive. That's like what, and according to him, this happened really after the 1930s and the Great Depression. Before that, you had many families like the Vanderbilts who really cared about showing off and being super flashy with their wealth. It's where the Biltmore Mansion comes from in North Carolina, if you ever visit it. It's the largest mansion in the United States. It exists because it used to be the case prior to about the Great Depression that the truly rich love to show off. But after the Great Depression, the upper class hid, okay? And so you'll almost never see them. You'll almost never hear of them. They value complete and utter anonymity and nobody knowing absolutely anything about them. So those are the values. And pursuant to that, it means that they don't wear anything flashy. They deliberately try to wear muted colors. This is like generally like what the upper class. Then after the top upper out of sights, like you have like upper class, these tend to be people who have inherited their money, but they incidentally like happen to like have some sort of like a position of class status. So they work in think tanks, they work in banks. This is not like not
sure.
like
Sorry, I don't want to
yeah.
do like a whole thing on this. Like
I just asked. I asked like some example.
sure.
Like she can't engage.
Yeah.
She has
So hold on.
she has
Can
no
someone tell me
ability
where-
to have a
Hold on, where
conversation.
do the people?
So,
Where
so
do the
far,
people from
I've
Dallas?
asked one question. I'm trying to ask a couple of questions.
Wait,
Corey,
I
is that
don't-
you in is that you in these
Yes, that's me.
Yeah.
You're pretty
Okay,
fucking
so
hot, bro.
far, if we could just try to zero in a little bit of like
Good for
Thank
you.
you, Ali, for proving me right again. I'm
discipline.
Thanks.
Okay,
Yeah,
discipline is a middle class
really-
value. I haven't heard
pretty good.
anything
Looks
aside
pretty
from anonymity is an upper class value. Can you like?
Yes,
get to the-
valuing things of actual, so valuing anonymity, valuing the timelessness and durability of the cloth or the clothing. So if you are somebody that is upper class or upper middle class, it's not so much that you buy things from a specific brand name, but when you choose to buy something, it should be something that lasts a very long time. It should be something of durable like cloth, and it should be something that lasts ideally long enough that like, so if it's like a coat or if it's like a hat, something like that, something that you could potentially pass down. It should not be something that falls apart within a couple of years. And part of the way that he explains this is the reason like why anything that was once alive is typically considered to be a higher quality material. Anything that's synthetic is considered to be a lower quality material.
She's doing it again, by the way.
How am I doing anything? You asked me a question, I'm giving you the answer. This is another example. So anything alive. So cotton, leather, pearl. This is also the reason why lab diamonds are considered to be less classy than like blood diamonds. Okay, it's because they're considered because it's grown in a lab as opposed to being mined from the earth. Okay, I don't think
people put
why,
value on the pain. You know, like that's when like you get that like dish, like the
so far heard three values.
Where you put your little veil over your face. You like derive pleasure from the pain.
Terrorizing the calf, right? Having that into the bloodstream, right? Makes the meat sweeter.
This is a real thing, though. Exactly. Like I know she's over here scoffing, but no, that's part of the reason blood diamonds have so much like value is because of the pain. That's why rubies, if you get them pre, like rubies, oh god, they moved again. If you get the rubies that are pre like the embargoes, those are worth way more, and those are all like come from genocide. So like, yeah,
yeah, hold on.
I don't think it's the genocide that makes them.
It doesn't
it gives them a certain aura, a certain smell. Okay,
yeah,
I need the genocide rubies. That's what I'm looking for.
It smells like massacred African children. All right. Anyway, let's go to
or South Americans. Either one.
Like guys,
I'm not picky.
So, I want to get to the heart of this. I want to push you guys to the heart of this because this class distinction isn't the heart of this. It's not, right? So I want to move. You guys can have this conversation some other time. You guys go to a long dissertation about like different class strata, right? Instead, let's focus in on the heart of this tweet. And then after that, we can move on for our goddamn lives. All right. Okay. So there was a tweet. Right, by this other woman, third party, not here for the audience members. Okay, all right, for the ones who are still here after all this. Holy shit. So the tweet was like by a woman who says like a man who wears sweatpants give me the ick. Like I don't understand. Like I don't know. Like a deep ick or something like that. Right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, our friend Corey, he responds, he says, like, I love the self-report. So he quote tweets her, he says, I love the self-report. And he attaches a link to a study that says that, like called the ick, narcissism, something, right? Like basically saying that people who have the ick, right, like are generally like are correlated to be like narcissists or have other personality defects like that. And then FQ saw that, and then she responded with one of her essays, a long treatise on Corey on the fact that he would send such a response, right, and why she thinks he sent the response, and like what that says about him and about like how men treat women, like the original poster, this woman named Sarah, right? Like this response is indicative to her of some sort of behavior that often happens with men in this, right? So okay, so to now that we've caught up the audience again, all right, it seems like the heart of this would instead be like why did why is Corey responding to this tweet? Does this tweet have any merit? The original tweet, the open the ick sweatpants thing, right? Is that worthy of response, right? Is that some like was it unreasonable to send that tweet back to her, right? Like because FQ says otherwise, right? That this was somehow an offense, right? Corey doesn't think so. So let's try to focus on that part.
Well, I do want to. I kind of memed a bit when I was talking about like the sexual preference thing, right? I think this is what that chick was talking about. I don't know about Corey's study. I didn't really dive too deep into the psychology because I thought it was pretty simple. I think the chick responding saying it's not that deep was right because it's basically her sexual preference isn't the slutty behavior of men. And I got to be honest, wearing sweatpants, specifically gray ones, is about the sluttiest thing you can do as a man. And the image it is might be the FQ's point, is because it's that middle class. I got some grease on my hands. It's come from hard work. I'll be comfortable. I'm going to fuck my bitch. That's like what they wear. And it also shows off the lumps. Like that's where it comes from. And so this girl doesn't like the slutty
the gray
sweatpants
thing was kind of big on Instagram for a while. Like it shows the bulge, right? Like
but that's what's gross.
Men with small dicks.
Oh, exactly. So that's the thing. It's the sexual preference.
There's a whole thing to it.
Yeah, but it's also gross, right? Like, I mean, like,
so
sure, right?
Sure. Well, no, wait, FQ, no.
Right?
If somebody is going out, wait, you
FQ,
cannot tell me that. You're telling me that if you went to Starbucks, you saw some guy in gray sweatpants with a major bowl just swinging around, getting a peppermint mocha, that you wouldn't think that that's gross?
Okay,
Me?
but it's the same
listen,
thing
hold up,
as
wait,
if
we're
somebody
talking
walks
about
up with like a
people's
Oh
mini
yeah,
preferences
their
here,
ass
though.
out.
I'll take one bowl.
FQ.
Starbucks.
You've
Extra
personally been
shot of
on like a
espresso.
vendetta against like the big bulky dudes, right? And saying that like the female preference is like this Elvis type pretty boy twink style, like that you're kind of referencing that as like the main preference when it's your
Dude,
preference,
this,
right?
no,
There are
this
definitely
is
women
not,
who
this
prefer
is
That's
not
seeing
right.
the
about
guy
muscles.
in the
This
gray
is about
sweatpants.
showing your
If you're
dick, your penis
if you're
in
around
public.
gym
That's what
if
this
you're
is
around gym
about,
culture
okay?
at all, the women in gym culture
That's why I
particularly,
do
right?
it.
Or the women
That's
that are kind of like in the like nightclub culture
No.
type style.
That's
Yes,
right. There you
the
go.
gray
See?
sweatpants
Okay,
thing was
well, there you
100%
go.
a big move. So
Okay,
it
well,
really just depends on what like you prefer and what like lifestyle you participate
So
in.
what do you think's
well,
more
I
likely?
mean, that's
This girl had
exactly
all
the point
this
of this
site class
conversation, now,
welfare
isn't it?
stuff
Right?
going on
Like,
for
I
warfare?
mean,
Really
Or
tight
she was
jeans
just like,
accomplish the same goal, by the way. Just
well, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
but like skinny jeans are
There
out,
we
brother.
go.
You got to wear baggy jeans
Nah,
now.
they
So it's
can
like skinny
be.
jeans are
It's all
out.
about being
If
seen
you're
in the right
No.
European, you
places.
Can't be
can
wearing
CJ.
skinny
can't do
jeans
American
nowadays,
jeans.
bro.
That's the rule now.
Okay, FQ, if you want to respond to any of that.
yeah, I mean, okay, so I won't deny, like, yeah, I've made some takes about Elvis and about Jacob Elordi, okay, sure. But what I'm talking about has nothing to do, okay, with
It has everything to do
muscles,
with it.
okay? It has to do with, okay, your love muscle, okay? And the ethics, the politeness of showing your love muscle in a public place outside, okay? Okay,
Well, it's the
I
same
would
thing for the
say,
girls who
I'm
share
just,
their love muscles. Them titties be out, and sorry, those
okay,
are the
but
type
this,
of girls that are
okay,
gonna
yeah, but this
appreciate
is,
his love
okay,
muscle.
okay,
But
more.
nothing.
but going back to
Don't
like
you shame
what the
that,
big,
Ollie.
okay,
Who's
but
shaming
going
that?
back,
I'm all for it. I'm just saying.
okay, but going back to like what this conversation is about, right? Like
Which
I
is that.
said,
That's what it's about.
I was talking about, we're talking about classism, right? Okay. So, like, when we are thinking about like the types of people, okay, I hate to even say it like this, okay? But
you
if
say
you,
you're saying there's no rich sluts? I know lots
I'm,
of rich sluts.
I'm saying that
Like,
if you are
so what are you
outside
saying here?
and if you are outside in public and if you are dressing in a deliberately provocative manner that shows off your
Hold on,
genitals
so
in a
Paris
very
Hilton doesn't
revealing
exist.
way, my automatic assumption is that even if you have money, that most likely you come from a working class background.
Okay,
That is my
hold
immediate
on.
assumption.
Are
Like
the
when I
Hiltons
see
in the
that
top
outside.
1%? Are the
Because
Hiltons in the top 1%? Yes or no? Are the Hiltons in the top 1%?
She can't engage.
Well, yeah,
No,
because
no.
what happens is you're totally wrong. Because being slutty is one of the biggest signs that you've reached the ultimate top 1%. Because
No.
rules don't matter to you anymore.
Yeah,
Sex is
yeah.
anything you can want.
No.
If I want to fuck my
When
brother,
did we start
that's
this
weird.
conversation?
But I'm so rich, it doesn't
No.
matter. If I want to go fuck anything,
Okay.
my productivity, guess what? I can do that. Because guess what? In the ultra
That's what Gibbs
At
does.
a certain point, you can even sell it, i.e., the Kardashians or the
You're
Hiltons.
totally wrong. Yeah, the Kardashians, the Hiltons. You can even talk about
Yeah,
all the
and guess
What's
what?
what's
Hold on,
trashy?
look,
What's
even
trashy
further,
if you're
when
poor,
we
but classy
have
if
the
you're rich is like
conspiracies,
kind of
have you
being a
seen
slut.
Eyes Wide Shut? Eyes Wide Shut is literally
No.
but based off people seeing what they
Okay,
think the
this
ultra
is
rich is like.
cla-
So you're just
okay,
wrong.
No,
like, at every
no.
level
Okay,
it
this is a misunderstanding. Okay,
You're
this goes
just
back to
wrong.
okay. Has anybody ever heard of like Rob Henderson's like luxury beliefs?
50 Shades of
Relates-
Grey. I guess that guy was
This
poor.
relates back to the sluttiness point. Okay, one
Rob
of his
Henderson.
main Rob Henderson.
He's a psychologist.
Oh.
He's great.
He's
by
an
the way.
agent.
See, FQ would say if
Oh,
50
that's
Shades
why.
of Grey was in a trailer park, it was a Criminal Minds episode. But since he was rich, it's acceptable and he's not slutty.
No. Okay, like, okay, here is like what, okay,
Wait,
Rob
so is Christian
Henderson
Grey
said,
rich or not?
which, I'm not, I can only answer.
How about
two minutes.
Dracula? How about like Dracula, these kings?
Well,
Dracula was clearly gay.
Dracula,
He
well,
doesn't count.
maybe, but he's also rich as fuck. What does he do? He has 3 wives and he also
Yeah,
fucks
no,
dudes.
no,
Guess what?
no,
Because
no.
he's so
Oh,
rich,
okay.
he's epitome. He's the evil side.
Actually, kind of a
the
good point.
Ultra strata.
No,
I'm just saying,
okay.
so he's
Okay,
fucking all these
okay.
people.
Think
That's
about all the
literally
Saudi
like-
princes who pay the
Okay.
hookers to
Saudi
shit on their
princes?
chests, right?
That's exactly right. I gave you,
Okay,
look,
look,
how about
this-
Shakespeare? Want to do Shakespeare next?
Think
Do
about all
Hamlet?
the chest shitting. Please,
Every
everyone.
Greek
Take
hero.
some time to think about that.
Think about every Greek
Every
hero. All of
Okay,
them.
Yeah, and they're all in the top 1%.
Very
aren't they?
homosexual, also. But anyway,
Yeah.
Exactly, because
They're
they don't
rich.
care. They can fuck both.
Okay.
Am I able to get a word out edgewise? Okay, luxury beliefs is the idea that because status symbols that you could buy and purchase with your money have become more accessible as wages have increased. The way that you signal your status today is through the belief system that you claim to espouse. And the reason why it's called a luxury belief, according to Henderson, is that it's a type of belief system that if you can only for the most part, although there are exceptions, it's mostly usually only successful if you have enough money to suffer the consequences of when it goes wrong. So polyamory is an example of this. That's an example of a luxury belief. If you are somebody who is wealthy, if you are somebody that has a lot of money, you know, potentially it might be the case that you're able to like have like more relationships. You're able to talk about having an open relationship. But like when you have less money, if you do engage in polyamorous relationships and if you have open relationships, it seems like as though like that's associated with more negative outcomes. So that's an example of something that like he refers to as a luxury belief. So that kind of explains at least somewhat like what you were saying, Ali.
It's not at poly FQ. That's
and also
polyamory
like
is actually the opposite. It would be for the poors because you get 5 or 6 people together and they spend the money at the same house and whatever. The rich would just be like, hey, we're fucking because we're free with our fluidity of our sex. We don't care. It's boring. We're so rich. Nothing is interesting to us. You have it wrong. It's very opposite of what you're saying here. It's not the poly. They're not even doing poly at that level. They're just doing eyes wide shut. Like that's the difference.
Yeah, rich people fucking private, right? Like the wife knows that she's getting cheated on, she just doesn't care because she's accepting of the.
Did you
the
hear about
lifestyle,
Trump
I mean,
and
she's
Bill?
probably cheating too.
it's not. Oh, what's
Trump and Bill.
Trump.
I mean, did you hear about that?
Bubba, yeah.
That wouldn't
Who
have
knew the
happened if they
pipe-
weren't rich.
So okay, all right.
Who knew the pipeline to drain the swamp went all the way back to Arkansas?
Yeah.
I mean, crazy.
Oh my God. So look, okay. Rather than so this is a different argument about this. Like this whole keeps running back to class, and I want to move past this because my patience for this has run thin, extremely
Fair enough.
thin. So so I'll just give my take, right? And then you can give your take, and then we can move on with our lives. The woman who made the original tweet saying sweatpants give her the ick. Well, she made a comment on a public platform. It was fair for people to respond. I don't think it's some sort of offense to respond to her, right? Corey didn't respond in any rude manner. He
oh, that's not true. Are you kidding me?
He sent her.
We called her a narcissist.
I heavily implied
Which is
it.
fair, which is fine. I'm cool with that. You know,
Literally,
you could have said worse
Data.
things.
People, he didn't say anything cruel, no, but he sent her literally data, right, to back up his claims.
Couldn't even defend that she wasn't a narcissist.
And then she says, this woman, she later on says that like, oh, it wasn't that deep because what she's doing now, she's just like throwing out these insults into the ether, right? And then when someone responds back, oh, it's just a joke, right? Don't take what I say seriously, even though what I mean is seriously. It's serious. Like she this.
If it reflects poorly on me, well, that can't.
Everyone's trying to get dunked on Twitter. That's the point.
Yeah, if it reflects poorly on her, then it's not. Then it wasn't actually a big deal, right? And in fact, you're in the wrong for even responding to me. Like that's nonsense, right? This is a public platform. People are gonna respond to you, especially if you put out like a rage bait like that. That's what she did, right? And now I'm not gonna defend necessarily everyone who responded to her, right? I'm sure people said wild things because that's Twitter, you know. But Corey did not do that. Also like this idea of attacking these people for the way they dress, that's classist behavior. It's disgusting, extremely disgusting. Fuck her, right? I would have responded in a less polite manner, but I'm not on Twitter and I don't give a fuck what happens there, so it's not a big deal to me. But this sort of behavior, you see this all the time, right? This is classic mean girl behavior. That's what she's doing, right? Imagine if she had done that to a woman, right? Talked about like how a woman dress and like, oh, that's disgusting, right? Like, where do you hear that? You hear that shit in high school. That's exactly how they behave, right? Like, oh, this sweater or whatever the fuck this other girl's wearing, that's disgusting. I don't like it. It's not fashionable, whatever, right? This is what's regularly done. And then in response, oh, I didn't actually mean it. Of course not. Why are you taking it so seriously? Like, let's not hide what this individual was doing, right? And then I think attacking Corey, like, or responding to Corey in that way, like, of course you have the to FQ, you have all the reasons to feel the way you feel, but like you are defending classist behavior. That's what was happening there. You defended that classist
in
behavior.
defense of the bourgeoisie.
Am I allowed just to respond? Okay, so a couple of things. Okay, so I have known women and even myself and other people, okay? And the women who will say make comments like this. It's very common, like in friends, like when you're over coffee, okay, people make judgy comments like this. It happens, okay?
Yeah,
It's
bitchy
not that
comments. Yeah, sure.
yeah, people make bitchy comments to each other, like in friend circles. You guys make crass comments to each other all the time. This is your friend circle,
yeah.
okay? Exactly, right? Well, women make bitchy comments to each other in their friend circles over coffee or when they're going out to a bar.
And this
It's
was
not
in a
that big.
public square.
Yeah, and in a coffee place or in a bar, that would also be a public square, right? But normally you just don't, you ignore it. You don't say anything about it because most of the
No.
time, okay? Yeah, you do. You want to know why? Because most of the time, the types of women who make statements like these, they have nails that they can't afford. They show off a bag that they think is like really expensive when really it's like a knockoff thing from TJ Maxx. You know, they act fancier. They pretend to be more sophisticated.
It makes
They
no difference
pretend
if
to
they're
be.
working class. If someone makes a
Wait a
horrible
minute.
comment,
Wait.
there's
No,
no reason to
wait a
defend
minute.
that comment.
Wait a minute. Okay. Like when somebody is saying something like this, normally, and I think this is true with this particular person, this is a person, okay, who is saying this as an act of insecurity because they feel bad. And the proper response to this, like when you see somebody making a comment like this, and you're right, it could be for a man or it could be for a woman. In either case, okay, you really just shouldn't say anything. You should not try to make the person feel bad because when people are trying to do things like that, when they are trying to, I don't know, when they're trying to show off like their
Why
$20
wouldn't you shouldn't
Gucci
make
bag,
them feel bad? They try to make
I,
someone else feel bad.
because it's immature behavior from them, and you, if as noticing that,
So
you
they get away with the bad behavior, and they don't
no,
get
it's
corrected,
not
right?
that.
We don't change
It's
them
not
to do that.
get
Accessible
away.
mature behavior, FQ.
It's not that. It's mentorship. Okay, so you see that somebody is feeling bad. You see that somebody like clearly like feels insecure. So what you do is you try to build that person's confidence. You try to make that person feel better. You try
No.
to give them something so that they don't behave that way, unless it's something truly like across the line, like if somebody's screaming a slur word or if somebody's doing something that's truly horrific or offensive. But if somebody's just making a crass comment about what it looks like to wear sweatpants in public, I think it's weird for somebody to be offended and to freak out about something like that. Frankly,
it's weird for someone to be offended by an insult.
You're on Twitter. She wanted to dunk on a bunch of guys who wear gray sweatpants on Twitter. She was calling guys gross. And so the proper and so the proper response is other people are going to also try to dunk on her. Corey just happened to dunk on her with science.
Well, I mean, first of all,
that was just like the only.
Ellie, here's the truth. Okay, you want the truth? This is the truth. Okay, Ellie. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, it may have been impolite for her to say that, and it may have been crass, and it may have been a bad idea. But here's the deal. Okay, that's what a lot of women think. Okay, that is what women think when men. Yeah,
but
so
Corey's had like about a year and a half of arguing with me on this, where the guy really does not judge people on what they wear. He does kind of think it's stupid that like there's professional dress wear and so on and so forth. And then, you know, on top of that, the guy looks fucking hot in his sweatpants and his tight shirts. So like, yeah, what do you want him to do? The jab was at him. Right, she threw it out, and she threw bullets out. He caught the bullet, and then he responded with a better bullet. That was. I'm
not Big Brother. I'm not saying that it's not within your purview of freedom of speech to say anything. I am just simply making an assessment about people who choose.
Yeah,
to
the assessment is wrong, is what I'm saying. The assessment.
No, it's perfectly true. If you didn't. Yeah, I'm telling you what it is, okay? If you truly felt secure about yourself, if you truly didn't care, okay, if you truly felt fine about how you present yourself in public, you would. Well, that is actually true. You wouldn't be on Twitter, but also you wouldn't be responding to some. But also you wouldn't be responding to some random girl about what she in Brooklyn about what she thought about sweatpants.
What?
You'd ignore
That's
it.
That's the whole point of Twitter. He thought it was going to go crazy.
If you're insecure, I'm just being honest with you. Okay, it looks like insecurity. You just ignore it. You move on.
No.
Oh,
I'm gonna go give that tweet a like right
now. You just said to Corey, that when he puts a picture right on Instagram, it's for other people's validation because that's what you're doing on Instagram. This whole point posting it online, right? You post a message on Twitter, it's for people to read and people to react, to feel something about, right? And then she got a reaction that she pretended like, oh, I didn't actually mean it, right? You're actually the silly ones to actually care about whatever I think I said. I agree. This woman is pointless,
honey,
right?
when a person puts a
however,
like if someone puts something dumb online,
literally,
you are not on a crusade. Are you on a crusade?
literally the platform is designed for
I'm not against your freedom of
responses,
speech, dude. You can
discourse,
respond to
right?
whatever you
For
want,
discourse.
okay? And
Oh, no, hold on, but
you
your
can do
response
whatever
is
you
that
want.
no, your response
And you're gonna
to
judge them
Corey
for doing
that
what they
was
want.
that like
is the
he's
issue.
the
Yes,
problem
I
now.
am. I judge
He's
people
the-
for doing what they want all the
he's-
time, and so should you.
He's the problem.
What do you
Yeah,
mean you don't
like,
judge people
now,
for doing
like,
what they
you,
want?
you're saying, hold on, why doesn't this rule apply to you? Why doesn't it apply to you?
True.
Right? Like,
what about her
Corey,
tweet in
you're
her
saying-
manifesto?
You're saying, like, why spend your time attacking this woman? She just puts out a tweet, right? And like, why even be the type of person?
Well, I think that
you send
I just told you.
back to Corey, right? So like, why did that not apply to
Whose
you?
tweet took more time? Anyone want to place any bets?
I think I've already given you my answer. The reason you're absolutely right. It does come from a source of like, for me, like feeling a little bit insecure, but I am feeling insecure on behalf of other people who I've met in my life who are girls that are like Sarah. Okay. I've met other people that are like Sarah before.
So you're the channeling of, but you're not insecure yourself as you hide behind an avatar.
Listen, we all have problems. That's why we're all here, okay?
Yeah.
Would any of us be here if we were all perfect, okay? Maybe if we were, we wouldn't all be here sitting on this stream tonight talking to each other, okay? I'm not a perfect person. I never claimed to be, okay?
Actually, I think I'm so perfect that other people are wrong, and that's kind of why I show up every Monday. I'm like, hey, this is why you're wrong and why I'm right.
But here's the thing. Prime, Corey, here's the thing, okay? This is tu quoque, okay? You could be a hypocrite and still be right, okay? I can be insecure and I can still be right about you being insecure. In fact, it takes one to know one, right? Wouldn't you say?
You're not far off. We can dissect that later. But like, yeah, go ahead, Brian.
No. Go ahead. Quick response, Corey.
Well, no, because this is going to circle back to the class thing and like her middle class values aspect, which is like very strange, or rather pretty arbitrary, or just like so far I've heard like
it's not arbitrary. It comes from a book. I have a source.
Wait. So if it comes from a novel, it's not arbitrary. Or it's not like
this is not a novel. Do you think the book is a novel?
Wait. Do you think
Paul Fussel's economics class about a book from 1980?
Potentially,
is that a novel?
If it's just, I haven't read the book. If it's just an opinion based or like a blog, yes, I would say it's largely.
It's not opinion based, nor is it a blog. Okay, it is based off of research. Yes. Okay.
What research would you invoke then? That discipline is a middle class value, or that anonymity is an upper class value?
I'm invoking the book by the economist Paul Fussell. That is what I'm invoking as my source. Okay. You can argue whether or not.
Okay, so an appeal to authority,
or not.
and assuming maybe some sort of true authority.
I mean, I'm telling you like why I think that, and I will tell you that that is the source that I am using. Yes, just like you appeal to authority yourself to try to call her a narcissist on her Twitter page.
That's why I said false versus true authority.
Weird, okay?
You aware of the distinction?
Gibbs, sorry. Well, we've already spent an hour on this, and I'm like running out of patience for it. Gibbs and then Gibbs.
Yeah, I mean, mine's real simple. I find big titty goth women and Latinas with big asses that dress provocatively to give me the ick. So if anyone of them want to come argue with me on Instagram or Twitter and send me photos of things that give me the ick, feel free to do so, because I will be disgusted
as revenge
every time. I'm just saying, I'm just as revenge. Just
big titty goth Latinos don't even exist, Gibbs.
The phrase
they just don't exist.
That possibility
prove us wrong.
This is really astounding. But now we know.
Let's go to
So two things. So first off, that woman's right. Gray sweatpants, any sweatpants, disgusting in public. Unless you're like, if you're wearing them, I assume that you're either sick or like poor, like one of those two things. To be honest with you, it just is what it is, right? So if you're not one of those two things, then you should not be wearing those in public. It's just embarrassing. But I think this would apply to unattractive women who wear like also sweatpants, but those what are they called? Like jogging pants, whatever the fuck.
Yoga joggers
with like pink across the butt.
If you're unattractive and you wear that, you're fucking disgusting. You should be laughed out of at any store you go into. If you have a camel toe and you're ugly, you're fucking disgusting. I'm sorry. But with women, it's more about how attractive you are. Right? If you're attractive, you can get away with that stuff, and you seem high class. If you're not, you're low class. This like facile thing, like I've never heard of this before, right? But the way that you're explaining it, it's like, it sounds like an astrology chart for like brunch habits, where like your sign is determined, like your sign is determined by like how expensive the cheese you pretend to like is. Like it's really fucking weird. Like it just doesn't. seem like I feel like this wouldn't map onto reality at all if we just gave it a little bit of thought.
All true.
So yeah, I don't know, but yeah, that woman's right. I don't know why you're upset. You're mad at Corey for calling her.
First of all, I think I would agree with you actually that in this case that I think there are things that like women wear out in public that I also think are gross and weird. I agree with you about the yoga pants. I think that's weird to wear out in public, and the camel toe. Anything, okay, that like shows like a clear indentation of your genitals out in public. I think that's gross and I think it's weird. And you know, honestly, like if I knew somebody interpersonally that like, I don't know, like we've all seen, I hate to be mean about it, but like I know kids that go to Walmart, they're in their pajamas, you know, they have giant fluffy slippers like when they're walking around out in public. Like it's not appropriate like to dress like that. And it's a free country. You can wear pajamas to go to Walmart. You can wear slippers to walk through the parking lot. Nobody's going to stop you if you do it. But if you do it, then you're going to be judged for it. And like, that's
if you think anyone's gonna wait, this whole I actually really hate this notion of like you have to dress properly as if like we're in some crazy polite European society.
We're going to Walmart.
We're going to Walmart. We're going to the mall. We're going to the gas station.
Everyone is judgmental.
Right? Most of the places, most of the people that are doing their day-to-day just chores, like they don't care to wear jeans and a polo and a nice shirt and all that bullshit. They're gonna wear their sweatpants and their hoodies or their.
What about like John Stockton?
No, I'm talking about leaving your house, going to Walmart, going to the gas station, going to CVS, going to Walgreens, running and doing your bullshit. Like the expectation that everyone's gonna be like dressed up or like dressed like to your level
you
of
have
like.
To wear a suit.
I'm saying,
I know, but it has to hit your quality of. It has to hit your
the worst. You never see that woman without makeup. Ever.
What was that?
I'm saying it's like an ugly woman walking outside without makeup on. The word
Doobie, you don't.
So if you're going to these places, it's not like I'm not saying they need to be like fancy, right? I'm just saying they need to be presentable, right?
Put together.
And I'm not saying not even.
Yeah, you want people to be put together.
It's not even really for me. It's more
the people
about
who go to
what
Walmart.
it says about them, right? It says to me that they don't care. They have no dignity, no sense of like self-respect.
Yeah, most of these people don't care because of where they're going. The settings to where they're going.
Okay, but then that means they don't respect anybody else in the setting, right? So if you're going to a store and you're forcing everybody to see your ugly ass face without makeup or your big ass,
kind of the expectation of the store.
Like, I'm sorry, like it's disrespectful.
Yes, it is it is to you if you're at Walmart and you have that expectation, but people who are going to Walmart don't have that expectation, and that's kind of what I'm saying is like you're judging these people on the standard that you have of like Whole Foods. When it's like, yeah, Whole Foods, probably people are going to be dressed a little bit better because it is a classier establishment.
Ali, have you ever heard of that webpage? I think it's a webpage called People of Walmart. And it's just like a bunch of people at Walmart who look like
yes, I have.
Yeah. So that kind of behavior, I think, is antisocial. It hurts society. It hurts society. And what it tells you about these people is that when they walk out, they don't give a fuck about
that's why they have their own safe zones.
Social taboos, social mores. They don't care about what society thinks of them. And these people are dangerous. So if one of these people, I can see more.
Wait, Doobie. That's why we give them their own zones to do this.
I want to lack twinning.
That's why they have Walmart, brother.
Yeah, no, I think Walmart is a great ecosystem for seeing society that you don't normally see. I disagree with Doobie on the makeup take. I actually think that it's good when people walk around without makeup. It's consent maximizing.
No fraud.
No fraud. So I disagree with Doobie on that one, firstly. Secondly, I thought about this while you guys were talking. One of the accessories that I think makes women look like just unequivocally the least attractive is that sort of that nose ring that makes you look like a prize bull.
Like a cow.
Yeah,
like a
cow. Yeah, it's like the round one that makes you look like a farm. Yeah, that one.
Yeah. At the club, hey, check this out.
Yeah, it's horrific. But I've seen when faced with this criticism, a lot of women will say, "Well, now I'm gonna wear it," right? As a form of
it's not for you, it's for me.
Yeah, it's a form of liberation, as a form of sticking it to the authority, telling you what to wear. So couldn't sweatpants be, as men, our middle finger?
It's not for you, it's for me.
To the establishment.
Sweat.
You know,
right?
You stop you just go, damn, you look familiar, and you show Betsy the cow, and they go, oh god, and then they're like, no, I don't. You show about three
Gibbs
more.
in this
and
camera.
And by the end, I promise, they ain't gonna wear that nose ring no more if you keep calling them a cow the other night. Like, hey Daisy, come over here. We need those mama milkers. Or just you keep roasting her. And like every time.
No, I mean
like,
they
That-
like it,
that
and
could
they
get you
like
in
it,
trouble.
And the girls that wear that are
Yeah,
selecting
you can
for the
become a
they're
cow,
trying to
it's fine.
select for the type of guy that likes that kind of shit, right? So the girl that wears the nose ring, Lactoid, you know,
There
you
are no
hate it.
guys that like that.
Nah, there's plenty of guys, man. There's plenty of guys that'll go for it. I'm telling you.
People like piercings.
They
People
have
like
a whole
piercings, that's the
scene,
thing.
brother. I mean, there are guys
Ranchers,
with painted,
maybe.
wait. There are guys with painted nails.
No,
there
we're
are
not
guys
trying
with
to fuck the cows.
Wait, we all know the fucking what's his name? That comedian guy that was with
Cows are gross.
that was with Kim Kardashian, Pete something fucking
Oh, Pete
Laney.
Davidson.
Yeah, Pete
Yeah, Pete
Davidson.
Davidson.
That whole like drug addict look of like guy that appeals to like a nice subsect of women, bro. You know what I mean? Like it's unattractive. He was nasty, but like I mean, he was also with Kim Kardashian, Ariana Grande.
Yeah.
And
No,
these could
I
be,
understand where you're coming from. And I'm not denying.
Celebrity, but like you know.
Yeah. I understand where you're coming from, and I'm not denying that there's like some things that kind of look eccentric or strange that are attractive to a large subset of people. But when it comes to that, the septum, the especially the round thing, the round ring, every single time I see that, it's just like nonstop hate in every comment section. Every guy I've talked to doesn't like it. Where is this community? Where are they hiding? I mean, is this like is like a foreign community or something? I don't know. I just
they're
don't think it
hiding
really
in those
exists.
women's inboxes. That's where they're hiding.
Maybe.
True.
Maybe they're ashamed to come out with it. Like it's
And
like
not
a
for
feet
nothing,
thing kinda
Lactoid is
too.
usually the
I think
Republican
shame is
guys,
part of the
bro.
appeal. To be
It's
honest,
usually the Republican guys that
that's
are
the gay
into
thing.
those girls.
No, that's
man.
the gay thing. You can't make it the nose ring thing too. That's not fair.
That's the gay thing.
Yeah, with no thing, unless you're gonna let me like loop a chain through that bitch, like you shouldn't be wearing it. Like it's just disgusting.
And a lot of them will.
That could
And
be
a
an
lot of them
exception.
will.
No, the BDSM there's like a hardcore BDSM thing. I can
the
maybe
sign
see
is
that.
the surest indicator that the girl's a freak.
Like
and
if it's a
that's
chain.
bypassing this in your mind.
No, but what they wear is the diamond boogers instead. They never wear the fucking full on. Like at least if you actually put on the cow
Some of
ring,
them do.
then we could get some
Like that Best Buy girl.
or some BDSM. But no, they don't do that.
The-
They do this little pointy bullshit
Best
that
Buy?
comes out. It looks like metal boogers. Like it's disgusting.
It
Nobody
does.
likes it.
Those are the goth girls, the ones that do that.
No, they're not, bro.
It's not
Even
just
the
goth
girls are
girls.
like that.
It's a lot more
No,
than
the
that.
goth girls will have like 50 piercings. Then it looks like something different.
But regardless
Yeah.
of who actually likes it, there is still a large group
It's
of
the
women that I've
rave scene
seen
girls, too.
very specifically respond to this with, okay, well now I'm going to do it as a form of like a rebellion, I think, against like social mores. So I don't know. I feel like I'm gonna start wearing
you gotta learn
sweatpants
about
more.
negging. Try that out sometime.
It feels good. You can fart and it's like not
Exactly.
kind of tied up in
Lactoid, you're
there.
a lawyer. You probably shouldn't be wearing.
Nah,
sweatpants
that's a fair
regularly.
point, actually. That's,
Yeah.
that could have
Yeah.
negative
So-
professional consequences.
Although Corey would fight for your right
So-
to wear sweatpants.
I would, and if he's comfortable with them, he should go for it. And if he wants to,
FQ.
I mean,
I think the real offense is defending bad behavior. That's
No.
like the real problem. Like
I think
Corey
I-
did nothing
no.
wrong, especially in the
no,
context
yes,
of,
he did do
of-
so.
of
Yes, he
Twitter.
did. Yes, he did. Okay, I am not.
Wait,
going
if
to
he
accept
did
that
something
ever,
wrong,
okay?
you did something wrong too, right?
He
FQ?
criticized a
He
woman.
didn't draw enough.
That's
Yeah,
what
but
he
anyway,
did.
Wait,
criticized
to be
the
clear,
woman. That was
FQ
the
is just
problem.
a
She literally said,
she is just a benevolent sexist. That's all FQ is. She's just a benevolent sexist. There's nothing more to that.
Oh Jesus. Okay.
But Corey,
Look,
you did do something
it's-
wrong. You didn't draw enough attention to your sweatpants picture.
True.
You should have done. That's where you went wrong.
No, I'm saying that he publicly called out a stranger who,
Yeah.
said.
He knew what he was
and
doing.
you can do that.
I did
It's
know
free
what
to
he was
do that.
But then you publicly called out someone that you knew with a little bit more ferocity, right? So, like in the same
Yeah.
regard, you like.
And
So,
keep
so
in
then,
mind, keep in mind, the
I
person
thought
that
it
I
was
was
interesting,
responded to FQ calling her unhinged. Just be aware of that.
Yeah, he did.
That is very true. Okay.
FQ, how dare you
Let's-
slut shame? You're not a very good feminist.
I'm not
That's
slut shaming.
him.
Look, I'm just
You're
gonna be
not
honest with
slut-shaming.
you. Okay, I
You sat-
agree.
two
I not
pictures
only
of
do-
Corey with the tightest shirts I've ever seen. You're definitely slut shaming. I'm not mad at it. I'm
Dude,
just saying.
okay, no, okay.
That's exactly what you did. And then you admitted that's what you were
No.
doing earlier. Like, it's gross when they wear this at the
No.
coffee shop. I don't
Look.
want to look at their schnog and then post all the photos of their ass out.
I
Like,
don't.
come on.
I
Come on.
don't know a single woman, honestly, who wants to see a guy's
Hey,
indentation
you,
of their
I,
dick.
I'll introduce you.
when they are out
I'll
in
introduce
public.
you.
No,
I know women.
I got about
And
I
if
know
I
women
found
like
a woman
that.
who
Hold on,
thought
hold
that,
on,
I would
you
think
do
she's
know.
right.
I know
I'm
plenty
not-
of women.
That's
That's
introduced
absolutely
you
not
to
true. I'm
some
sorry.
already
Like,
that would tell you they
I
love
don't
their
wanna-
sweatpants. After you have met them, so you're lying right now.
maybe
You have
some
met
type
some
of
of
guy.
my
Yeah.
female friends on here on stream that have sat here and talked about gray sweatpants before. I think you need
No.
your presence.
No,
Yeah.
I don't. No.
FQ,
Okay,
we can
so
assure
what-
you.
I can
We
start
assure
naming
you
them. Do you
of
want me to start
women
naming
like
them?
that. Like,
I
there's
am
a
sure.
certain
I'm sure.
subsection.
Look, I think that like to me, I thought, there's the book like the Great. I know like there's the Great Gatsby, and we all know the story of Gatsby, right? Like to me, like when I see people like engaging in the type of behavior that Sarah is engaging in, okay, it reminds me a lot of that book. Okay, it reminds me a lot of people who do things that they act like they're bigger than their britches. Okay, they wear a flaming pink suit to a party. They drive a big giant yellow car. They put fireworks over their giant, huge McMansion across in West Egg because they're desperately trying to fit in with the people over in East Egg. And when you see somebody that's trying to do that, that's trying to pull a Gatsby, they're clearly somebody, okay, who is trying to put on airs. They are trying to pretend to be fancier than they actually are. If you see somebody doing that,
or maybe it's just fun. Maybe they're just having some fun.
Yeah, people just like talking shit.
It depends, right?
In the
like,
same
I mean,
way
like,
that some people take the internet and make it real life, you're taking books and applying it to the internet.
I'm sorry, but I'm sorry, but like when we're talking about classism, like new money versus old money, and how like this type of thing, like class dynamics, this is absolutely something that applies.
Is
to
that
real
girl
life
rich
and to
or
the internet,
something?
okay?
Does she have like money?
I already explained at the
from
very
the soap
beginning.
opera Dallas fall? Like, are they like in the ultra rich?
No, she is not rich. Okay.
No. How about like the people from like you see the soap opera Dallas?
No, you're from Texas.
Well,
I don't want to watch Texas shows. Okay.
How about
no,
hold on. This is like one of the most famous soap operas of all time. It's about the most rich people in the world. Some of them. Right, and all they do, once again, is they act like sluts. Like I just don't understand where you're coming
you're
from.
Focusing on you're focusing on the slut thing.
Because
I'm
that's
talking
the
just
main
about sex.
thing. Because,
no, it's not the main thing. You're focusing on that.
Classism.
No,
It is about classism. No, because what you're sitting here saying
but
is,
like, okay,
you're sitting here saying they don't like certain things, and what I'm saying is this is just her sexual preference. It might have
trying to move on from this.
Yeah, it might have been fake, like back all. Yeah, I don't know. Where it's like, hey, if she wanted more of these,
I think it's probably pretty fair to say that the reason why so many men became upset about her is because they felt judged, because they felt that they could sense the fact that this was a classist comment coming from her. They recognize that, and that's why they are upset, because they feel insecure about their own class status, and they are lashing out against this tweet for that reason. That's why they feel insecure about the sweatpants thing. If you didn't give a shit, you wouldn't have said anything. Okay, that's the reason why they're saying that. And the Jay Gatsby thing, if I can finish that, okay. The Jay Gatsby thing is this: when you see somebody trying to pull a Jay Gatsby in real life, it, generally speaking, it is, at least just my personal opinion, I think it's a terrible thing to expose that person as a fake or a fraud in front of everyone. If you see somebody that's trying to fit in with everyone else, if you see somebody trying to be bigger, to be better, to try to pretend to be snooty about things they have no idea about, you shouldn't try to shame them and unmask them and reveal them as a pretender.
Better?
Okay?
Was this person being better, Sarah? This is her
I'm
aspiring?
I'm not saying that she's literally being better. I'm saying that the reason why she's making comments like this is because she is aspiring to be better. Okay, she's aspiring.
This is what aspiration looks like.
Aspiring to go viral with
it. Yes, and it's a bad thing to do. And then the way you defend the bad thing. Yeah, but no, what I'm trying to explain. Okay, the way that you actually fix this problem when you see somebody aspiring negatively like this is they need to learn how to actually be successful in aspiring to this. They need to know how to actually.
How can they do that if we don't have conversations like this inspired by Corey's tweet
on Twitter? Is that was he was supposed to? The next part was to the appropriate response was for Corey to take this woman under his wing, right? To show her the proper way.
Appropriate response was to roll your eyes and move on. That's the appropriate response. And
then the appropriate response to what Corey did was to send a treatise to him.
Listen, when if I was perfect, I wouldn't be here. Okay, I've already admitted. Okay, the fact that I'm flawed. Okay, however, it doesn't mean that I'm wrong. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, I'm just saying, like, without.
I would like it on record that Lactoid just said that I wrote the Bible. Okay, I would like that on record on this stream. Okay.
The anti-Corey
without
Bible
Corey retweeting or messaging this person, whatever it may be, we wouldn't be having this conversation about how we should handle it. So technically,
listen, I wrote the
Corey's
gospel.
tweet brought us closer.
Yeah. The gospel of Fairy Queen says this is how we should handle it. Okay.
Let's move on for our lives. Okay. Wow.
Talk about hypergamy.
Yes.
Time to bring out some of that malevolent sexism. Are you guys ready?
For whatever audience is stuck around for that, Apologies. But we'll be moving on. Thanks everyone for being here. If you're here, follow the channel if you haven't done so already. Like, we have better conversations than that. I assure you, that's the thing that we're capable of. That's hit the follow button if you haven't done so on the various platforms, Twitch, YouTube, and Kick, if you're there. And consider supporting the channel, subs the channel, give bits or give subs or give the membership or whatever they do on Kick. Actually, I'm pretty sure. I don't know. I imagine Kick has some level of partnership before you can get subs or something. I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm sure I'm not at monetization level on Kick. I've got I think 4 people following me on Kick. You should be the 5th. So consider doing that. And keeping this channel alive. Much appreciated to those who do. All right. And I was going to say something else. And it's going to kill me. And then I'm going to remember it like an hour later. Whatever. So we're going to get started. We are going to... Oh, now I remember what I was going to say. Hey, Lactoid. How many people are on screen?
7.
7.
That's your least favorite number of people on screen.
And see how I desperately tried to avoid 7. You saw how I desperately tried, and yet
it's a lucky number. Lucky number 7.
Gravity. I'm telling you, this happens all the time. When I have 8 people within that group DM, right? One of them is going to drop out, and then one of them dropped out multiple times. Okay. Anyway, it's fine. All right, so let's get started. Topic. All right. The greater male variability hypothesis states that there is much more diversity in the distribution of male IQ versus female IQ. This means that there are less men of average IQ than women, but there are also more males of lower and higher than average IQ than females. In terms of dating, this would also mean that there isn't enough men of normal or higher IQ to go around for each similarly matched woman. Some amount of women will then have to, quote unquote, settle for a man with lower IQ. If this hypothesis is correct, what should be the implications on how society views heterosexual romantic pairings? Is hypergamy something to be shamed when men of appropriate IQs are a premium? Should we de-emphasize the importance of IQ and tell women that they should be perfectly happy with a good man that is somewhat below her intellectual level? And should this have any implications on the idea that a man should leave the household when his wife may be better positioned for the job? And credit to FQ, who came up with this. This was a super chat, or this prompt
an expansion
derived from the super chat. Sorry, what?
An extension of a super chat.
Extension of a super chat that she sent. Yes. So yeah, I think it's pretty fascinating. I hadn't heard of this greater male variability hypothesis, but it's not new. It's not a new thing. And I'm sure as it'll come up with the conversation, people have publicly espoused this, and it's caused a lot of trauma in the past. We've talked about this because of its implications of female the ability of women to be able to do a job well versus a man. So that's been a huge thing in the past. But the focus here will be on dating, right? If this is true, that they're just less men of average intelligence, right? Well, then yes, at some point, women will just mathematically not be able to find a pairing that meets their intelligence threshold or surpasses it. So, doesn't it make sense for women to compete for higher status men, rather than having to go with a dullard, to avoid that awful fate? That seems like that would be a rational response to if literally you might end up with the short and the stick. So we're gonna bounce around that. We'll start with our friend FQ, because FQ was the one who came up with that, and then we'll go around.
Sure. So I guess I just want to clarify, like right off the bat, I think that the IQ aspect is interesting, and I do think that it's relevant. But I do want to just bracket and make very clear, I do not think that it is all encompassing. Okay, and I am not a psychologist. Okay, this is not my area of study. So while I do think, and it does seem to be, that there's a lot of research behind the greater male variability hypothesis, what I don't know and what I'm not sure is how fat or how wide exactly each end of the tail is. Okay. So and that's something that we could discuss. I don't know if that means that there's an equal distribution of low IQ men versus an equal to a distribution of higher, however we want to define it, to like the same amount to higher IQ men. I don't know actually like what the answer to that is. I've seen different numbers and different graphs that seem to indicate different things, but I'm not sure. Okay. So that's just some disclaimers like before I say this. But my main argument and main point about this is that I don't think that the rising male difficulty in dating is caused by men not going outside or social media or inflated expectations driven by feminism. I think that the primary drivers are structural and cognitive. And I think that they emerge from long-term changes in education, shift in the economy from an industrial economy to a service economy, and population level cognitive distributions. So we'll talk about this, I guess, more, but we could talk about the educational decline in boys and men, because I think the natural question that people are going to ask, well, I mean, you can look in in the first article, you can see that there's a source that goes back over 100 years ago to 1894 that first postulated about the greater male variability hypothesis. So this is not a new hypothesis by any means. And if we accept that the hypothesis is true, I mean, this would have been true in the 50s, this would have been true in the 20s, this has been true for, if we think it's true, it has been true for at least over 100 years, right? Even though there has been some shift. So if that's the case, why is it more difficult now? And to answer that question, I think the first thing is to look at educational decline in men and boys in school. And we can talk about more about why that is, but I think that it has to do with some stuff that's not talked about in Twitch Poll, like the politicization of phonics in early education, too much screen time, frankly, in schools, and too much access to internet technology. I think in some ways, the Zoomer kids we're seeing right now is the reckoning of the iPad kids, and expansion of mental health services such as IEPs or 504 plans for kids who don't need them. And I think that that's had massive effects on educational rigor for girls and for boys, but boys specifically because of behavior problems. Economic shift from industrial versus service work. This is like not, the modern economy requires verbal ability, executive function. We are the age of personal care, okay? Especially as AI is coming through and is demolishing a lot of rote work, such as, being a receptionist. A lot of jobs that used to be staples are going away. We aren't really in an industrial economy. And so for that reason, people that hug the middle or people like towards the higher end of the distribution, those are the people that are going to be more successful in the economy. But the lower down the bell curve you go, the more difficult it is to be successful. And at a population level, I think that's why a lot of men are struggling to find, it's a part of the reason, I think, only in part, why a lot of men on the left half of the bell curve face reduced economic and social viability compared to earlier periods. And finally, what the whole point of this, greater male variability in IQ produces more men at both the high and the low extremes. And so men in the lower tail are disproportionately filtered out of stable employment and status formation. So, and I stated this before, I think that the reason why this impacts dating specifically is I think that women use class position, income, and educational attainments as proxies for general intelligence. I don't think it's just about resource allocation, which is usually the way that this is framed. I think it's because it's, for lack of a better word, it is the best form of an intelligence test you can use when you are trying to find somebody to marry or potentially have children with. And because women have increasingly outperformed men in education and in income, finding somebody, think about it from the perspective of a woman. You're there with Tinder on your phone, and you have hundreds of people in front of you, and you're trying to find somebody who you think is roughly as smart as you, or somebody who has the same, like, what's one way for you to find somebody who think you might be a good match? Well, one way is education, right? That's going to mean a lot of left swipes. That's just to be honest with you, okay? You're going to look for things like education. You're going to look for signals that might indicate that like the person has like so income, education, et cetera, et cetera. And dating disparities, I think, are downstream of educational and economic sorting, not cultural hostility. And I think the solution ultimately, believe it or not, it goes back to school. I think it goes back to school, and I think it goes back to parenting. I think that if we take significant changes like in the way that we school and raise our kids, I think that that could probably resolve a lot of the problems that a lot of young men say that they are facing today. So that is basically my argument.
Thank you, Lactoid.
All right, how's my coming through? Okay.
Pretty good. Yeah.
So good.
All right. When it goes bad, let me know. From what I understand, gender variability is true in many things. I'm just going to agree to that premise. There are more average women, and there are more above average men and below average men. The overall men's distribution is flatter across a whole bunch of variables. And I think the mean is roughly the same, but the distribution is flatter. IQ is no different, and IQ, I think, is a very important metric to look at. I think it's fine that we look at other things, but I think IQ is probably the single most important metric that we have when it comes to predicting relevant characteristics, especially in this conversation, but relevant characteristics when it comes to a whole host of factors that when it comes to predicting all sorts of pro-social or antisocial behavior of any given individual. With that, I also believe that men and women are different. I believe in gender roles. The expectations should be for men to become economic providers and women to become domestic providers. This expectation is good and founded in biology. I think this arrangement, as well as underlying biological differences, necessarily leads to hypergamy and has for all human history and has across most, if not all, mammalian species. In the situation where there is a larger amount of low IQ men left over, or men with any kind of comparable incompetence besides IQ, some of the average women are just going to have to dig at the bottom of the bucket and get what they can get. I think that in those situations, her duty should be to press him to work hard, to stay out of trouble, and to do the best with what he has. And his duty is to work within what he has to emulate those who are above him as much as possible. That's how I want society to function now. When it comes to the AI boom, nobody here can fully predict what effect that's going to have on this. But I kind of have an intuition here that AI may give an advantage to blue-collar work as it continues to take over and make us obsolete when it comes to white-collar work. And this might actually make it more possible for men on the lower end of this distribution to fulfill that role. Just because blue-collar work is going to be more accessible to lower IQ people than perhaps certain types of high, kind of white-collar, high IQ work that are probably going to get replaced with AI. So that's my position.
Corey.
Oh, well, I mildly reject the greater variability hypothesis. It's a hypothesis for a reason. Yeah, there appears to be some evidence demonstrating that pretty much just what like Lactoid described, although I say the data is pretty mixed, or at least not so strong. And even then, I would say slightly over-exaggerated. But regardless, I'm going to sort of short circuit the conversation a little bit in terms of there is an implicit assumption in the prompt that women actually value IQ. There's no actual evidence as far as I can tell. I've only come across one study that actually assesses it, because you have to keep things in mind of like there are stated preferences versus revealed preferences. Okay. Just as, for example, whatever, maybe a little bit crude, but if I ask Lactoid if he wants to have, I don't know, six-pack abs, that would be a stated preference. But his revealed preference is, well, he doesn't actually want that because he's not actually pursuing it. And the same thing holds true in terms of mate preferences. Many people will say that they claim they want to have an intelligent partner. But actually, and I'll post a study in the chat, that when you actually assess it, and the study was done of like they mildly or somewhat objectively, they didn't do a full IQ test, but they did a cognitive assessment test. And then when they actually saw that, when they shared the actual intelligence scores, pretty much actually intelligence, higher intelligence reduced the attraction for these men. Okay, because there's no action, there's no data unless someone wants to post it showing that women actually want an intelligent partner, or even I think that even holds true for men as well. This is a stated preference, but what typically tends to happen is there is a halo effect. Okay, the halo effect in terms of like if you find someone physically attractive, you're probably going to attribute intelligence to them, because who wants to admit to themselves that they have a dumb partner? But you probably have at some point a dumb partner, just like every parent is going to say their child is the smartest child in the world. Okay. But there are children, or there are parents that have children that are unfortunately not so smart. And there are partners that are also not so smart. And I think the data bear that out. And I'll post a study in the chat. I'll leave it there for now.
I think the thing to focus on is that Lagtoid prefers love handles, right? He likes having a tire, right, around his waist, right? More of him to love, ladies, right? You remember that. He's single, so reach out to him. Set up my man Doobie.
I think this is already like, have you guys ever seen those Instagram videos, TikTok videos? It's like, oh, my husband's stupid, you know, he doesn't know how to do this thing. Oh, I had to remind him to do this thing 10 times and blah, blah, blah. That kind of stuff. I think that is the result, right, of the fact that they're just a 10 men with lower IQs. But I really don't think it matters. I would hate to think that people are like actively looking for high IQ people to get with. I don't think that's actually true. I think there are plenty of people who are wealthy and have low IQs. Plenty of people who are poor have high IQs. I think it's a really lazy way to think about this.
Okay. To our friend Gibbs.
Yeah, off topic, but me and Doobie, last time we spoke, had a breakthrough recently. And I just wanted to recognize it because we haven't had a chance to really dive into it. I think it's something worth diving into. And that is that, Nazi points is actually a white supremacist. I'm very happy that more and more people are finally coming around to the truth, because every time I get a chance, I'm going to say, fuck Connor. Anyway, moving on. I think with this, it's all bullshit. I look like Liberace Jesus right now in my hot flaming pink suit and shit. And guess what? I could go to the club right now and still pull. Listen, as one of these people that hangs out with other people that are in this hypergamy status. There's a lot of us men that don't fit any of these traditional ideas of high intelligence. Maybe y'all think that's me, maybe y'all don't, I don't know. But I know some dumb motherfuckers fucking all the bitches. I know some poor motherfuckers that are hobos that are still fucking all the bitches. We call them hobosexuals. All this idea that it's class-based and intelligence-based is really dumb. It's really dumb and just is not based on reality. And people could go, oh, yeah, Gibbs, you don't know. But you know who's fucking? People that go to the club. I know people that go to the club. That's who's fucking. That's who these people get pulled. They're the ones that are out in the cool places like the malls that get pulled for these kind of things. There's the place of people that are going out doing things that the street people get a hold of. These are the people that have time to answer the phone calls for these polling questions because they have rich enough jobs, I guess, maybe, or they have no time on their hands. It doesn't matter. It's not a class thing. It's definitely not that. It's just a preference thing, as I think has been noted very many times. And it's also a charisma thing. You either have it or you don't. And I feel like in this case, that's really all hypergamy comes down to. A lot of these men don't have it, and it has nothing to do with intelligence. Because I've seen some smart motherfuckers who can just develop the nuclear bomb, but couldn't figure out how to lick a pussy. It's just amazing. It's amazing.
Shout out to my man Gibbs. Right? Honestly, this man's a fucking poet, and people don't even know it. Let's go to our friend Ali.
Yeah. Male very barely high possible whatever. I've always believed that on average girls are probably smarter than boys. I think they care more, they read more books. I don't think guys really, like, especially when you're younger, when you're going through school, like sit at home, read books, care about these types of things. They just play sports or like whatever it may be. But then you get your Big Bang Theory boys, and we call them autistic anyways. So it doesn't really think the idea that women are searching for high IQ men. No. I think girls just want to have fun. I think if you're a guy, the whole worry about hypergamy, hypergamy is like fun and all to like read and like listen to these podcasts, bros talk about it, but it doesn't apply in like normal places, right? It applies in like Miami, it applies in like the club in New York, it applies in like LA, it applies in like, but like if you're just in a normal suburb, if you're just in a normal town, if you're just in the city, like being with other normal people, your best shot as a guy is to be fun and safe, right? If you're fun, if you can provide a good time and you're not a fucking creep, that's what the girls are going to be shooting and gunning for. The hypergamy on like the average world is girls want to have fun. Don't be a bum. Don't be broke. Be able to provide a decent enough time without being a creep and like being invasive on the girl. Don't like push for sex, right? Let the night be about having fun and let them kind of just relax. And there's your hypergamy. They're always going to be looking for the guys that are having the most fun, because that's what they're looking for when they're going out, right? The girls aren't going out in the hopes of like, oh, a rich guy, and just to like buy a bottle and be bored to death, right? They'd much rather, if still be bought a drink, right? It may not have to be a bottle, but yeah. So I don't know. The whole idea of a hypergamy is like, it makes sense, but it just doesn't apply in the average world. And this whole thing where like women are searching for like high IQ men, no, I think the girls that are swiping, that are hypergamous, that are looking for guys with intelligence, they are looking for the fact that like, oh, you have a good job, but a good job doesn't do shit for your IQ, right? They're looking, and to Corey's point, if you're good looking enough, we'll just throw intelligence on you. Like the whole idea that a guy is going to put you onto music or put you onto a restaurant, or like you're going to go and kind of pick up like his slang and so on and so forth, is like this little trope of like, girls wanting to look up to their man, right? That was like the whole thing with like the red pill space. I don't know. It's just it's never like played out. So I don't know. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay. Open to the panel.
Yeah, I think that I have a disagreement like right off the bat, and that's that if you are a woman who's like in the mid-range, like you should just suck it up. Like these are the options, okay? And you should just get with somebody.
Do you mean mid-range of intelligence? Sorry, I just want to.
Yes, mid-range of intelligence, right? And so you should accept the fact that you should just marry somebody of lower intelligence than you, and you should settle for that, and you should put pressure upon him to perform a traditional gender role in order for you to do that. And I think that suggestion is rife with problems for a number of reasons. The first one is, depending on like how much income like the couple could potentially be making. I think that I don't know if this is true for couples that are wealthier. I am not sure if this like still holds through, but my understanding is that like when there is income incongruity between men and women, and when there is economic insecurity in the home, and she is making more money than he is, that is that, I don't know like what the exact noun is, I'm searching. It seems as though it's correlated like with higher rates of domestic violence, like for those women. And there is research to back this up, like I don't know if that like can be replicated to different income levels. It's possible that it may not be, but it does seem to be true for lower socioeconomic couples. So if we're talking and since we're talking about women who are in the mid-range for IQ, and we're saying you should settle for somebody that like is less intelligent than you, and since we know that intelligence correlates, even though it's not a one-to-one, like with like income, what you're basically saying is that like you think that like you're basically advising the situation that to me seems to be correlated with higher rates of assault and like more trips to the potential risks to the hospital. At least that it seems to be a risk factor. So one, there seems to be data that seems to show that it's bad. But the second problem has to do with the idea of gender roles. And this is an opinion-based thing, but I've observed it, okay? It seems to me that the more money that you make, the less concerned you have to be about buying into a type of traditional gender role. That's part of the reason, like I think another reason why money is something that like women look for like in men, okay? Because like let's say like you are like an upper middle class, like in terms of income, wife like to an upper middle class man. So you're both doctors, let's say, okay? Or you both work, let's say, at a bank, you both, maybe you're both brokers, maybe you're both lawyers, right? What many of these families do is it's not the case that she stays at home and she cooks and he cleans, like while he goes out and like he goes to work and brings home the bacon. The actual dynamic that takes place is they both work, but she gets a nanny. She gets a nanny and she hires a nanny and she hires in-home help to come and to perform like most of the services like within the home. And this is very common for women, like the further up the economic ladder you go. Becomes more and more common that like the more money you have, the more you outsource a lot of these gendered roles to other people. And the same thing holds true for men, right? I'm like, what's a gender role for men? Well, you should be tall, you should be strong, you should be able to protect, you should be able to provide, right? But that and what that looks like, that is going to be very different for somebody that like makes their living, on Wall Street, like as a broker, as opposed to somebody that makes a family wage as a local dentist, right? And the difference is that if you're somebody that overemphasizes you can protect, you can like protect from anything bad that might happen, that means you probably live in a bad neighborhood where people get mugged. Okay. That means there is a need for you to be big, for you to be able to beat somebody up. That's like what it means to me, like when you say something like that. If the less that true that is, though, the less you have to say it. People that live in neighborhoods that are safe, that are crime free, that don't have to worry as much about being assaulted or bad things happen, they don't have to talk about how much they're going to be protectors and providers, because it's already assumed that we will both be working, and we will both be providing. And so me talking about me providing is not really so much of a factor. And me protecting isn't so much of a factor either, because by virtue of the fact that I am of the status, I don't even need to think about.
So the role is
protected.
Fulfilled.
Exactly.
That's the issue.
By money.
Like, yeah,
by
well,
money.
it doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, what do you mean by money though? The male role is fulfilled, right? He's in a safe neighborhood, and the woman role is also fulfilled. She is the house is being taken care of. The guy doesn't care whether or not like she's personally like cleaning or maybe cooking like whatever it may be, but like but the roles end up changing, right? So like in the role it's maintenance, right? When you're rich, when you provide the house, right, now you have to maintain the house, you have to maintain the size of the house, you have to maintain the new cars, you have to maintain the new things. You can't drop. Now you're not fulfilling your role if you drop in any of these expectations that you've already fulfilled. And then your whole idea of like women having to settle for lower IQ guys, unless you want to share guys at the top, right? If you want to share guys at the other end of the scale, or if you all want to date the higher IQ, then yeah, it's going to have to be settling. And also, what does settling mean? Like the idea that lower IQ just instantly means that this person is in a lower socioeconomic, like there are plenty of dumb guys that make a lot of money.
There are,
right?
there absolutely. And I'm not saying it's a 1-to-1, right? We're talking about broad trends, right? Obviously, this is not always going to be true, but this broadly seems to be the case, right? And I mean, do you think like it's less masculine for you to be able to fix your own car? Let's put it that way, right? Or to not be able to change your tire?
No.
You don't think so? I know a lot of people
change my tire. Yeah, you should be able to change your tire.
Okay.
Fix your own car. I don't know if I need to be able to fix my own car. I mean, at this point, like if you buy an electric car, you can't even fix your own car.
Well, I mean, like that's sort of like, okay, like this kind of like plays into like what I was saying before, right? Like I think that there are some people, not everyone, right? But I think there are some people who would say that not being able to fix basic appliances around your house, including being able to work at least somewhat on your car, does make you less of a man. It is an insult against your masculinity to not be able to do these things, right? And why? I guess what I'm saying is it just seems to me the more people care or seem to emphasize being masculine or being feminine, the more it's because you have to make up for the fact that you are economically insecure by emphasizing aspects of your body that you already have. People that make a lot of money, they don't have to worry about how they don't talk. It is not a threat to their sense of manliness to not be able to change their tire or to not be able to like fix the sink or to not be able to like fix, I don't know, to screw in a light bulb. Why? Because somebody else is going to do that. You don't have to do it. So I don't know. Like,
no, it can still be seen as emasculating if like, you know, you're in a rich guy's house and he can't change a light bulb or change his tire, right? Like the whole idea that you can't do it because you just don't know, you've never done anything is a little bit like weird.
Yeah,
but the idea that like any girl, like if you're rich enough, a girl won't really care if you don't change your tire because you don't want to, right? There's a difference. There's a difference between I don't know how to versus I don't want to and don't have to.
I do want to let put in.
Oh. Yeah, I've got a lot of responses. So I got kind of responses to Fairy Queen, and then I actually have some questions and responses maybe to Corey. Fairy Queen, so I generally agree that if the amount of money that, so in the situation where let's say you have a woman who's making a whole bunch more money than the man, you might ask, well, should she really give that up? And the answer is, it depends, but I can absolutely imagine that there could be an amount of money that she would make that'd be high enough that the money benefit alone could overpower any other kind of advantages that might come with having a kind of more traditional arrangement in the family. When I say that it's good, I'm simply describing that it's the ideal arrangement if possible, or if not outweighed by other potential factors. Obviously, like if this, you know, if you're giving up a $2 million a year job as opposed, and the other guy, works $15 an hour or something along those lines. Yeah, I would think the money just would, and it doesn't have to be that extreme, but that's just a extreme example. Then yeah, of course,
right.
Then they should just probably find some kind of other arrangement just because the money is just more beneficial. In terms of the response to, like, I guess the nanny, or the fact that rich people can kind of outsource these roles to other people. I mean, I agree that wealthy people can avoid kind of the benefits of gender roles. Wealthy people can avoid, or I guess the necessity sometimes even. Rich people can also dodge all sorts of shit, right? Because they're rich. They can avoid working hard. They can avoid consequences for bad things that they do. They can do all sorts. They're rich. I agree that if you have a whole bunch of money, you can dodge shit. But my general advice would still be, hey, try to work hard and try to avoid crime. If you're super rich, are you going to be able to not really work hard and avoid the consequences of crime? Probably, but still probably shouldn't do it. As to the point of those kind of arrangements where the woman's making more and the male's making less, having a higher rate of domestic violence, I mean, I'd be curious on seeing some of that data. My prediction is that it could be that lower IQ men are just generally more violent, and in those kind of arrangements, you're more likely to have lower IQ men because you're controlling for lower income men. And there is a strong correlation between low IQ and crime broadly, but especially violent crime. So that's like what I would predict is probably the reason behind that. Maybe there is some sort of like kind of deep insecurity that could lead men to potentially commit. I kind of understand that's the hypothesis that you were getting at, but I would want to see the actual data on that to try to rule out that what I think is the more likely understanding, which is that lower income, lower IQ men are just more violent by nature.
Sure. I guess I have a follow-up question before you ask that to Corey.
Sure.
So then why then is your advice then, if you think that this is the case, because we are talking about IQ, even though we're also talking about income, why is your advice then to women who are in the middle range then to marry with men who are potentially in the lower range, or at least lower than them? Why not simply say, listen, your best option is to just remain.
Hello? Did you cut out for anybody else?
Remain single, I'm assuming would be her.
FQ, you cut out there. I'm not sure if you can still hear us. Okay, so let's assume that she can't. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to respond when she can't hear me.
Then ask Corey his question.
Okay.
Get all your dunks in now.
Well, no,
and then we'll go to Gibbs.
Sure. I'll ask Corey some questions, or I guess kind of talk about the paper you linked, and then I linked something as well. And
yeah, you did. I'm going through it now.
Sure. No, and I think
it backs up what I said.
Okay. So in your study, something that I thought was interesting was that perceived intelligence was correlated with
halo effect.
Yes.
Perceived.
Yes. Perceived intelligence was correlated with attractiveness. Actual intelligence, as measured by the study, and I'm going to take issue with that in a second, but actual intelligence was not correlated with attractiveness, but actual intelligence was correlated with perceived intelligence, and perceived intelligence was correlated with attractiveness, but yet, when you have one correlates with one factor and then that factor correlates with another factor, I would expect that the actual intelligence would be correlating with attractiveness, but you don't see that in this study. I just find that to be odd. You think that's pretty rare to see. I don't really have a point there. It's just when you have one correlate to another correlate, and then
but there were people in the study that they're perceived as intelligent, but then whatever, obviously, loosely speaking, objectively they are not. But they're still perceived as intelligent. And same thing of because like in the study, they also, I believe, they share of like these people are actually intelligent, and then the attraction like decreases.
No. I understand that, but the study also found that perceived intelligence was correlated with actual intelligence.
Yeah, but it's not one to as in.
It's not 1-to-1.
Yes, it's in the title. Like they can detect it. It's in the title. Intelligence can be detected, but it's not found attractive.
No, I understand. What I'm saying is, if you have actual intelligence being correlated with perceived intelligence, and perceived intelligence being correlated with attractiveness, right? If A is correlated to B and B is correlated to C, you would expect there to be some correlation between A and C, but you don't. You don't see that in the study, which I find to be strange. I really don't have any point besides that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
My main gripe with the study really comes down to the fact that they use a verbal IQ, a simple verbal IQ task, which is significantly less predictive than spatial or memory IQ, much more changeable. You can actually study and learn and change your verbal IQ in a way that you really can't with your spatial or memory IQ. And especially for men, spatial IQ is much more predictive for the kinds of kind of pro-social things that we're generally measuring, at least in the studies that I've taken a look at. So, I mean, that's one thing. The other thing is a criticism of this study is it's a speed dating, which, I mean, is what it is.
They did 2 studies. Well, within that study, they did 2 experiments.
Okay.
Study 1 and
Hey,
study 2.
we can hear you.
All right.
Go ahead.
So the speed dating, and then there's a second study that is how are they getting explain it to me so I don't have to stop my train of thought.
One of them they show like video. They have the men like pretty much tell a joke and then like pretty much demonstrate their intelligence. They go through like the whole methodology and then they have the women watch and then they take photos of the men, both headshots, full body, controlled lighting, and then they show the photos and then they get how the women rate them and then and they share like.
Okay, I was under the impression that it was the same cohort. Is it a different cohort? Is what you're saying?
No. I believe, if I remember correctly, it's the same men throughout going through study 1 and.
Okay, that's why. So okay, fair enough. So I think it's fair to call 2 studies. I guess in my mind I would call that 1 study, but I understand 2 studies. But it's the same cohort. My concern, I guess, when it comes to this sort of immediate, like, again, perceived intelligence, speed dating kind of element, is that I think it's removing a lot of factors that IQ is associated with that are really at the meat of what we're trying to get at when it comes to being a successful partner, right? So, and this is kind of what I'm getting at when it comes to like getting married, staying married, being in a long-term relationship. It's also true that people with high IQ just tend to have an easier time making friends for obvious reasons, and they have an easier time keeping friends. They also consistently rate as happier, and they're more likely to have a whole bunch of income. All of these things are independently correlated with marriage success and relationship success as well, right?
I don't deny those things.
Right. Well, right, exactly. And so when we're looking at hypergamy, I know we're looking at IQ specifically, but I think it's fair to say, okay, a woman or anybody just looking at somebody, you can maybe, if you have a conversation with them, you can get like a rough estimation if somebody's on the super high or super low end of IQ, but putting an exact number in somebody's pretty difficult on an individual basis. On like large.
Well, not until we get to your world, we all have IQ tests and name tags. With our numbers
yes, the stamp on the forehead. Yes, then it'll be super.
My name
easy,
is Corey.
Right?
My IQ is 84.
Yeah, right there, perfect. Right, that would be super easy. But what I think when partners are looking for when it comes to women, especially when it comes to hypergamy, is they're looking for things that are strongly correlated with IQ that would indicate that this person is going to be a good partner. Income, the ability to maintain social relationships, and to understand social expectations. Generally, it's to be able to be happy and to be like a kind of lightning mood in their presence, as opposed to somebody who's always a downer. Being able to understand problems and be able to problem solve. All this stuff is strongly correlated with IQ. So I guess that's kind of why I posted that second study.
Yeah. So I don't actually really disagree with anything that you said. But and sort of like, if I remember correctly, in terms of what FQ mentioned in her opening, it's like, well, women are using, let's say, job, education level, etc., as surrogate markers for intelligence. I would say it's the sort of opposite. Rather, they're not actually directly assessing for intelligence. They just happen to want pretty much whatever, the income, the job stability, whatever, someone who's educated. But they don't actually, because like I think my study backs that up, and I would say the study that you posted, like I would say doesn't back up, or rather maybe slightly more in my favor of like, because it pretty much says here, obviously I'm just
I know
reading
this. I know you're gonna read. Yep.
But pretty much at the end, yeah, they say
covariates.
That yes. The present study results clearly demonstrate that intelligence is a fitness indicator in mating, directly predicting the prospects of entering into as well as staying in marriage.
Yeah.
This also implies indirectly that females pay substantial attention to males' intelligence in their mate choices, albeit that our data do not directly pertain to females' attention or preferences. Whereas, like, yes, as in pretty much like I said in my opening, they're not actually selecting for IQ score or raw intelligence. They just happen to like the benefits of that.
Right. Speaking. Right. And the problem, it's not a problem. I mean, we're like aggressively agreeing, but like in a disagreeable way for a second, because I don't disagree, but I think that when we're looking at these IQ distribution charts and we're saying like IQ is the thing, like we're trying to like it, what do we do with the low IQ men? We're using IQ as a proxy here. I agree, if there's an ultra rich guy who's super charismatic, has a lot of good friends, et cetera, and he's also has an IQ of 84. This guy may still be very attractive to women. The problem is this guy is rare. This guy is rare as fuck. It's very unlikely that this person actually exists, even though they put in the grand billions of people, maybe they do, but it's not going to be a very common person. So when we are using, I think, IQ here not as with any kind of attempt to measure G, we have to base it off of the things that it correlates with as opposed to the thing itself. And that's what I think we're doing here. So it's fair of you to point that out, but that's kind of what I had in mind going into this whole thing, which is...
Okay, yeah, and that's fair. And, and maybe I'm reading too much into the prop. The only thing that I would ask you then, what would be like your advice of like, well, would you advise them like, well, get your potential partner, get their IQ tested, and then make your choice to commit to them? Or like, should you assess their maybe education level if you value that, maybe their job or job prospects if you value that, other pro-social behaviors, or just say, no, just stick to the IQ thing?
No, I think it should be holistic. I think that in my
opinion, I would say gun to your head choosing one or the other, as in I would pose that hypothetical scenario to myself as well, of like, well, if gun to my head, you should probably more focus on not like the raw intelligence IQ score. You shouldn't push to get their IQ tested, but if you value, let's say, their job prospects and education level, more focus on that.
So
and other pro-social behaviors.
Well, here's what I would say. If you're holding me a gun to my head and you're saying for me to have one trait, I'm picking IQ every time. But if you're saying pick IQ or pick like how charismatic somebody is, how many friendships they have, their job success, how much money they have, net worth, blah blah blah.
Well, I wouldn't list 12 things.
Right, but that's you'd have to do, right? Because IQ is so strongly correlated with all those 12 things that I'd feel comfortable making predictions off of, if I could only know one thing, off of IQ as opposed to like any one of those other individual things. But if you have more time to meet somebody, I would agree that you should probably get a more holistic view. But as I think I've talked about this before, when it comes to dating or meeting people generally, we have to go off of heuristics. When it comes to safety, we have to go off of heuristics. You know, there's a reason why women very justly are afraid of men following them at night. Could be a guy who's just walking the same way, totally safe, no problem, or it could be a violent killer. I don't get offended if a woman crosses the street or feels uncomfortable. I just keep walking because I understand the risk. She's basing that off of a heuristic, even though I know I'm not a fucking crazy killer. How does she know? Even if if I have a conversation with somebody and I'm able to find it, like, for whatever reason. I know it's hard to understand, get this initially, but if I find out that their IQ is like 130, and then and I only have time for one date. I know one person's IQ is 130, and I know the other person has like 8 friends that they've had for the last 20 years. I'm going with the IQ as opposed to just any single other metric.
Let's go.
Well, can I just respond briefly?
And then I want to respond to Fairy Queen because she cut out.
Yeah.
Okay.
I just want to say
Gibbs, I haven't forgot about you. And then I also want to go to Doobie. I want to hear words from him, but go ahead.
I'll try to be quick. So I don't necessarily strongly disagree with you, or maybe just slightly. The only thing that I would say, and I'll post a study in the chat. There's an interesting study assessing the relationships of actual high IQ people, as in they actually assessed Mensa members. And if you actually and the individuals that were the Mensa members, it appears to be correlated with let's say an insecure attachment style. An insecure attachment style is associated with potential not so great relationship outcomes. But to be fair to the study, or rather to be fair to the overall findings, what is interesting is, like, despite the insecure attachment associated with those with the actual Mensa members, their relationship, they rated their relationship quality as still quite high. But it seems like their conflict resolution in high IQ people, not so great. But yeah, I'll leave it there.
So well, you're partially correct. So I've seen some of this. When you especially when you start getting to the really high IQs, like 170, 180, you do see more emotional disruption. You especially start seeing a higher percentage actually of depression, but they also rate themselves as happier because even though there is some more emotional instability, they tend to be able to work through problems and solve social problems. Yeah. Exactly, and still maintain their social network and their social ability. So yeah, I guess that would be kind of my response to that. And then Fairy Queen, the last question.
Did you hear what I said, or
I did.
Did I cut out?
I did. You cut out as soon as you finished the question, I believe, in which you said, "Why would you have this expectation for women to go for the lower tier of man as opposed to, risk kind of domestic abuse as opposed to getting, just staying single, right? That's kind of the question."
Yeah. Yeah.
So that. When I said that women are going to have to pick from the bottom of the bucket, I was making the assumption that she wants to be in a relationship. If any individual person makes runs through the risk calculus in their head and they're just like, look, I just don't want to risk this, even if the risk is very small, I'm deferring to her. Kind of like when it comes to the again, walking down the street. What's the likelihood of this person being a killer? Probably pretty low, but I'm not in the business of dictating somebody else's risk tolerances to them. If a woman doesn't feel comfortable with a man, then she wants to stay single instead. Sure, that's fine. I understand that.
Okay. Let's go to Gibbs, and then we'll go to Doobie.
Yeah, I gotta say, the chat, I think it was No Count Mike, he said it, but he and Ali are about 100% right here. This is extremely goddamn academia coded with no reflection in the real world. Like, all of y'all this is the perfect example of being too smart for your own good. Y'all are all talking about some baby back bullshit that has no basis in actual reality, right?
Bring in the ribs.
This is the facts. This is the facts. Like, I hate to break it to you, but y'all sound fucking retarded. Like, that's like, y'all may be smart.
What was that word again? What was that word again? Can you repeat?
Like,
retarded. Retarded.
Yeah, because dear God, bro, like, dear God, okay. I know a guy, I know this is an anecdote, but it's a pretty good one, I think. We call him Shotgun Wiley. This guy had 2 brain cells, and I think one of them died gasping for air. This motherfucker, we call him Shotgun Wiley because he fucked every bitch in a college town. Yeah. He fucked so many bitches that other bitches would stop giving shit to other girls.
Was he married?
About being a hoe. No, well, I think he is now.
Nah, dumb guys just get a lot of pussy.
But he fucked everything, and they called him Shotgun Wiley because every girl there had fucked him, so no girl would talk shit about another girl fucking him. He literally got past being like a barrier. He could literally just talk to him and he'd smash that night because he fucked so many. It was amazing, right? Stupidest motherfucker I've ever met, right? And I've met tons of people like this. It's just no reflection of reality. Like, they have to settle. No, women chose this guy. And then we're talking about a certain segment of men getting this percentage, right? It's the men that are going out and fucking that are getting this done, right? Because I know tons of smart fuckers who ain't getting no poo. None of y'all fuckers that are sitting here bitching about this. Y'all ain't seen a pussy in so goddamn long. Y'all wouldn't know if it was raw meat or if it was Pinozi. Like, dear God. Like,
I don't know if I'd want that kind of pussy. Jesus Christ. Raw meat.
Christ, I'm saying. Yeah, well, exactly. That's what I'm saying. You wouldn't even know.
Freshly slaughtered.
It's crazy. Like, you have no basis in reality for what you're saying. You're like, it's all like, oh, we didn't have to settle for these dumb guys.
Well, can I give you a little bit of pushback, Gibbs?
You can try.
Sorry, I'm just a little bit, right? But you talked about like this Shotgun really whatever guy person. Like, you're saying yes, women slept with this individual, but purposely, is that what we? Yeah, sure. Here, right? But is that what we
I would hope so.
By yeah,
it's important. Because the point was about choosing.
Is that what we all mean by choosing? Because choosing, I think, hold on 1 second. What I interpret it as choosing would be like, now this is my long-term partner. That's choosing, right?
That's his choice, though.
I think it's a different thing when you're like having just a sexual experience with a person, right?
No, but
those are different criteria people are using, right?
Wait. Time. Wait. Would it be easier for him, the person who's getting a lot of girls, to convert that to a long-term relationship versus someone who is? So, like, yes, the idea that like you succeeding is having a long-term relationship, it's kind of based on him. If he wants to have a long-term relationship, it seems that he has the ability to like at least meet the people
Well,
who has a better chance?
Because
the
he has
person who
options.
is fucking
He's
girls
going
or
to
the person
choose the
who
best
isn't?
option.
No,
Hold on. If he's fucking 100 people, he has 100 women he can choose from, right? So he's going to
Not
pick
necessarily,
the best option.
actually.
Hold on. Well, sure. He's going to want to pick the one he
has
thinks
better odds.
that is going to give him the best option, or for what he wants. And if he wants the fucking toxic women and not have a long term, then he's going to keep picking that, right? But the minute he wants to settle down and have kids, he's going to go, well, I've been fucking Betsy over here, who's got the physical desires I want. She's got the intelligence level I want. She's got the money or whatever, like whatever features. Then he can pick that one, and then he can choose not to cheat, and that's the relationship works out. The ones that are at the top of this pinnacle of fucking, which is hypergamy, are going to be the ones who have the best relationships long term because they have the more options and the best options. It's just that's how everything works.
All right. Well, I mean, the data that I've seen about casual sex for women is that women have different standards for casual sex than men do. If women have higher standards for casual sex than men, women are more likely to have higher standards for who it is that they choose to have casual relationships, often because they think that it's going to lead to a long-term relationship. That's frequently the reason why they engage.
No.
Yes, it is.
The person that cares
So
less.
from what I've
the person that cares less has the most power in a
I get that you have
relationship.
studies, FQ. So I'm gonna speak from like anecdote. It's usually girls will fuck some
Chad.
loser or fuck some whatever, like, and then they'll hold off. And they'll change if they're trying to actually mate with the person.
Well, hold on.
No girl expects a one-night stand to become a long-term relationship.
Okay.
Well, whoever cares less has the power. That's in a relationship. It's that simple. Whoever cares less. If I don't care if you sit here and you're like, oh, you cheated on me, and I don't give a shit, and you care about it, long want to work, that relationship's gonna work out. It's that simple. Like
Gibbs. Okay, I mean this with all due respect to the ladies that this guy apparently romanced. But my assumption, about the caliber of women that he found.
Yeah, I know what you're going to say. You're saying they're sluts, but hold on.
I'm not saying that. I'm saying they're dumb.
This is what I'm going to say about you then.
I think they're dumb, and I think that's why they like him.
She's saying they're dumb sluts.
Hold on. I'm actually
They
going
are
to say the
dumb. They are
opposite.
dumb,
I
and
think
that's why they slept with him.
This is going to be a little offensive.
I didn't say slut. He said
I have to say this. I have
the
to say
women
this.
of the world.
No offense.
They are dumb.
No offense. But hold on. No offense. But I have met
dude.
many of these women, and I actually think most of them more intelligent than you. Like on a real note, because you're so crawling online that you can't recognize what the real world is like.
Gibbs, you are more online than me. This is the first
I'm
time
so-
I've been on a show.
I'm so, yeah, but I also go out. I mean,
You
that's
have
fine. But you're
3,000
sitting here
followers.
writing
I
dissertations
occasionally
about this.
post on Twitter.
Yeah, that's
dude.
fine. Just because I'm popular online doesn't mean I don't go out and do normal
So-
shit. Either one. Like, it's neither regardless. You sit here and you're so online. You're reading
Oh
in
my
your little books,
God.
and you're not going out and talking to people.
Well, she's
You
less
don't live in the
online.
real
Yeah,
world.
you're
Academia,
reading.
to be fair.
You are
You're
online.
less online
No,
and more
you
in
can lie.
academia.
Just sitting here saying, like, these
You can
women are
smell
rich as
the books even.
they're rich as fuck. They have tons of money. Some of them have PhDs. And like, do you have a PhD? No. Would you say a
Bro.
PhD is a
He's working on it.
intelligent?
Gibbs
guess
has a
what?
doctorate. I mean, I don't know if you knew that.
Yes, 2 of them.
These are like, no. And you can
Doctor
argue
from
that,
the
like, and we
Lord,
can make the
still
hold
us,
on. We
okay?
can make the
And I
joke.
know when
We
to
can make the
listen.
joke about the PhDs I have, right? But these girls have stuff from Harvard. I know one from Harvard. I know
Look,
one from U of
look,
H.
look.
I know one from UT. So
Yes.
unless you have a PhD,
I
you're
know one that has
probably
a
more less
UTI.
intelligent than they
Yep,
are.
yep.
Hold on, that too. Probably, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying, when
Yep.
you're gonna sit here and say this, I got to be honest. I honestly think you're the dumb one here because you're so like focused on this.
STD
Like,
from Princeton.
Don't disrespect Gibbs's bitches, all right?
Look,
I'm
I'm
just,
not trying
I
to
mean,
be.
they're not
look,
my
I'm not-
bitches. These are some other guys'
I'm
bitches.
not.
What's
I'm
his
not
name?
gonna-
Shotgun
smarter
Sally
bitches
or
than her.
something?
Shotgun salad.
What's his name?
Shotgun Wiley.
Shotgun Wiley. Yeah. Were the women that he was getting with,
Were smart?
were they from Harvard?
I bet they would
One
be
of them was
named
at least.
Shotgun
I know one of them was a
Salad.
doctor
One
from Harvard.
of the women went with a guy from Harvard. Went with a guy called fucking Shotgun Wiley.
Yeah, because they dated for 3
Yeah.
months, and I'll tell you what. You
Okay,
know why? Because
this
he
dude
was-
must have
he
been
was-
like
he was dumb and
6'4".
fun.
No.
His dick was
Yeah.
6'4", I'll tell you
How
that.
tall was he? Wait, hold on. How tall was he?
He was good
6'4"
looking.
laying
Oh, he
down.
was good looking and he was tall. You're
He was
throwing in
6'4" laying
factors
down.
that
But
you
he was
didn't.
dumb.
But hold on.
What was he's dumb?
No, but this is not a good sample.
And that's my point.
No,
If you're
I'm
dumb
gonna
and you know
stop,
his name,
Gibbs.
doesn't matter.
Gibbs. I'm gonna use some academic terms, okay? If this guy was like 6'4", packing a 12-incher, and was like ripped and like looked like chiseled,
Well,
he's
that
Even
proves my
this
point.
Lacroix would fuck him at that
this is
point.
not a good sample selection for when we're
No, it's a
talking about
perfect sample.
general
It's a wonderful-
realities. maybe
that's
Shotgun
my point. That
Wiley
is
is
the general reality.
No, it sounds to me like
The
Shotgun
general reality
Wiley
is that the nerdy boy ain't gonna get laid because he's afraid to talk to pussy.
Yeah,
Or
most
the guy
nerdy.
that's jacked is gonna go talk to women. That's what hypergamy is. 20% of men are the ones getting all the women. That's literally what it is.
Gibbs.
The good looking, the ones with riz, the ones with money. That's like they're the ones who have the time, which are the hobos. So
Gibbs.
it's really that simple.
Most low IQ men are not like Shotgun, not like this Shotgun fella, okay, that you keep describing, where you're saying he looks really good, he's super tall and all that shit. Okay, maybe there's other factors here that might lead women to make such a horrible decision to get with Mr. Shotgun. But that doesn't mean that like most low IQ individuals have those advantages. In fact, oftentimes they don't.
No,
oftentimes they actually have it's the other way around. Most of the time, they're homeless.
That's an advantage. That's an advantage because all they do is try to hit up bitches.
Why do they have to be homeless? Why can't it just be some
not Harvard bitches?
And wait.
I know some really smart bitches that have gotten with homo dudes too.
It's a known trope. It's a known trope that wait. It's a known trope that the girls that are doing the boss shit are at the end of the day just want to fucking let their hair down. They're not going to the bar so they can compete with the guy who's sitting there doing the whole thing. They want to just have fun. So I'm sorry, the dumb guys. The dumb guys.
Who do they fuck? They fuck the bartender.
The dumb guys at the frat, at the bar, at the club that are having fun. They have less inhibition. All right, they're going to be the ones who are more likely to go up to girls because they're too stupid to overthink going up to women because they don't give a fuck. That's the whole idea.
That's right.
Okay. I'm going to push back.
Are bartenders like the guys that are high intelligence guys?
I'm saying something.
I'm one of the dumb guys. I'm telling you, I am this person.
Okay, listen to what okay. This is one of the pushbacks I'll have against Corey and against Laxoid, because this is something that both you and Ali are saying, Gibbs. Okay, you're talking about
charisma. The facts.
Well, I don't think it's an established fact that emotional intelligence, that EQ is actually a thing. I think
dumb men don't care about EQ.
That is not.
Dumb men don't care.
No, you
misunderstand.
You misunderstand what I'm saying. Okay, what I am saying is that when you meet somebody that is very socially savvy, that can intuit what other people want or what they think, this is typically associated with higher IQ. Okay, EQ though, as a concept that's separate from IQ. I don't
think
being
socially intelligent is linked with IQ.
Yes.
Isn't it the idea that nerds don't have friends because they don't know how to talk to people? And it's usually the people at the party that are dumb that just.
This is a misconception. This is a false.
This
is not true.
Yes.
It's not facts.
This is not facts.
I don't know.
I went to college and it seemed like the people. It seemed like the smart people who were studying didn't really have time to be like out partying.
They're just not masculine. They're just not masculine. Like think about these like rich nerdy.
The guys who went to university and decided to study, exactly. They're not masculine.
Listen, I know. Hold on, I know these nerdy little dudes, these nerdy lawyers, these nerdy engineers. I'll go to their house and their wives are trying to fuck because they're fucking the pool boy. They're fucking around on him because they married him just for the money and they're going to cheat on him because he's an emasculated dude. And half the time, those guys are secretly gay. As we know, when you mentioned the Republican.
Where are we going?
Wait, to be fair, true. Running theory I have. Men don't really read books, right? Women and the gays tend to be the book readers here. So I don't know. What's the percentage of just like straight men who are just reading books versus like women versus
I can answer that. Okay, men. Jesus Christ. Men are less likely to read fiction. Women are less likely to read nonfiction. Okay, that's the. What the hell is happening? Gibbs, why is your camera following your face? That's so like I can't stop looking at it.
That's the point. It's just like with Corey with the other thing. It's a signal. We want you to look, you motherfuckers. That's the point.
Jesus Christ.
Books are for the women and the gays. That's a quote. That's a.
I was like, yeah, the people who read. I was like, the people who read. Oh shit! Oh no.
No. But like for real, I'm just saying, like on average, you go out. It's not the smartest of people that are out in the bars. It's not the smartest of people, like of guys, honestly, that I see that are out and about doing their thing. The intelligent guys are kind of either wrapped up at home or they're wrapped up in their studies or their career, whatever it may be. That's where you have like med school is hard. Not for nothing. Like you're a lawyer, right? I'm like, from everything I've heard about.
It's even harder than med school.
Yeah. From everything I've heard about people that go into law school, is like your teacher tells you. No, well, hold up, wait. it's not so much that it's true, like maybe not, but like you have to do a lot of fucking reading and memorizing.
do.
You don't really have time
I
to
must
be
be
like
gay or a
fucking
woman.
off if you want to pass the bar,
both.
or
Boys are
do
gay,
whatever
or
it may
both.
be. Which is why Lactoid's gotten so little pussy in his college career, and why the rest of us who are in communications majors, we're all kind of just having a blast.
By the way,
Well-
I real quick, I really appreciate that like subtle but kind of true thing where it's like the rest of us unintelligent communications majors.
Yeah, we were just out living life in college. We listen, man. I'm sorry, but like, yeah, there are some of us who are socially intelligent. If you want to do social IQ, yeah, I think social IQ is a thing.
No. Okay,
But I don't think higher IQ
understand-
is equivalent to social IQ. I'm sorry, I just don't.
I understand.
I don't think Ben Shapiro's a ball at parties.
Look,
He's probably a smart guy. I don't think he's a grand time at parties.
Okay.
I bet he picks up all the bitches. The Shapiro Riz, bro.
Okay, so we're talking about broad population trends, okay? And the dumb jock, nerdy kid, okay, who's super smart but nobody likes, these are very extremes, okay? But generally speaking, like when you're looking at like data about, we can even go back to the dumb jock stereotype. Actually, a lot of athletes that are in high school, they tend to be smart. They
They're
tend to be really
smarter.
good at academic. They tend to, yes, and taking care of your physical health, that's also associated with intelligence, okay? Taking care of yourself, thinking about how you present yourself when you go outside, whether you wear sweatpants when you're going on a date.
Wait.
But the actually dumb jocks were the ones getting laid the most.
Football players
Hold
are
on,
Listen,
hold on,
did
the
no one
actual
watch
dumb jocks were the-
Idiocracy? Smart people don't fuck. They don't have. They overthink it. That's kind of like
That's
the
a
whole idea.
stereotype.
That
That's
we're
a
populated by
stereotype.
the dumb because the dumb are
The
ones
problem
who
is
don't
Dumb jocks
no,
were
the
actually
problem is they
getting
use birth control. That's the problem, actually. It's
No,
not that they
they
don't
don't
fuck.
multiply.
Maybe,
Actually,
but
fair.
the
They're
dumb
not
jock
Yeah.
was the one actually getting laid. They would get to sit there and they would be over here. They wouldn't care about school. All they cared about was looking good, and then they would go out there and just talk to all the girls all the time.
While
And they
the-
would
while
get
the-
laid because that's what they cared about. And the girls liked it because they didn't have to sit here and argue about everything with the guy. They could just be like, "Wear this outfit." He'd be like, "Oh yeah," and then he would do it. They could dress him like their little kid doll. This is what they do all the time. Like you're acting like this didn't happen, and it just does on a wide scale.
Well, okay, so
This is all of Blue Mountain State.
Yeah, I mean literally, it's all of
All of Blue Mountain.
Yes, on one hand, empirical studies. On the other hand, Blue Mountain State. I mean, can
I'm
can
sorry,
we
to be fair,
argue
Blue Mountain- Hold on,
with
and
Blue
Blue
Mountain
Mountain
State?
State, as much as
I
participate in college. I went to college.
Okay.
I seen the. I
Okay,
seen
you
the
went to
guys on
college.
photos
I
that were
watched
so
American Pie.
jocks. I also watched American Pie and lived in American Pie.
I'm just saying.
I also hold on. One of my I know that anecdotes. I know anecdotes are like kind of shitty when there's like empirical evidence, but the empirical
it's
evidence
total
never
bullshit.
fucking plays out in real life.
That's not true.
Like,
That's
Exactly,
What?
over and over and over again.
So if I
That's why. That's why Trump won.
True, it's
you know,
cold
everybody-
here. That's why global warming must be fake. It's cold right where I am.
True.
It's freezing.
Here we
It's a
go.
little too
Alright.
much
In your
been
house
snowing
right
more
now, it's
lately.
cold.
Oh, it's freezing.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew lactose.
So
was
I
probably
want
used
to.
talk
So
about
let's.
global warming
Okay, come
earlier.
on. We're gonna let FQ respond because there's a lot of things flying at her, right? So I want to give her a moment to respond. I do actually want to hear from Doobie, right? Yeah, I want to pick his brain.
Yeah. So first of all, I maintain what I said about intelligence, okay? And this actually is another pushback about the what about the guy, okay, who, isn't majoring, we've all met people like this who are super charismatic, but they're bums, okay? They sleep on their girlfriend's couch, they don't work, they are
They
bum
have girlfriends
poets,
to
they're
have,
guitar
couches
heroes.
to sleep on. Wait, girlfriends let them sleep on their couch.
No, but my point is
because
that
they're
like
charismatic.
no, okay, but the reason, okay,
Hobosexual. That's the word.
True.
Jesus Christ. Okay. Look, I think that the reason why these girls stick with these guys is because they are either close to them or higher than them in intelligence. And they perceive them being really good at the guitar or being really good at poetry or being really good at some sort of artistic thing. I mean, girls do this, okay? They date
They
artists.
just think it's
okay?
hot.
They're never good at
No,
poetry.
They don't think it's intelligent. They just think it's hot.
No. They believe that there will be a
I've
payoff
been this
eventually
guy.
with this, and they think it's a sign of intelligence. And to be perfectly frank with you, if somebody is actually
Perceived
capable,
intelligence.
Man, then girls are dumber than we
Perceived,
think.
right?
That maybe
So
they're not
that's
the
what we're
median
talking
This is
high
about.
ones.
retarded.
Right?
This is retarded.
this is
Like
not
if that's
No,
the idea,
it's
the
not.
girls are
No,
honestly
it's not.
dumber
No,
than we're
it's not.
talking about here.
No, it's not. Okay, a lot of
It
girls.
would have to be.
Okay, a lot of the reason like why girls value men who can do things like this is because it is, as like was stated, it's a form of perceived intelligence. They perceive that as a sign that the guy is intelligent.
It's because
and
they're
so they are
kind
willing
to them.
Don't interrupt me. They are willing to endure the poverty and the fact that he can't make a lot of money because they think he's smart and because they can get along well with him. Because
no, it's because the guy.
Yes.
Wait. No, to be fair,
Yes.
in this situation, it's because it's because the guy maybe
Yes.
treats them correctly. Maybe the guy treats them nicely. Maybe the guy is kind. No girl is staying with a guy that's sleeping on their couch and can't afford to take him on a date because she thinks he's smart.
Yes,
it's because in
they
a world of
do.
fucking
Yes,
assholes,
they
in a
do.
world
What
of
are
perceived
you talking
fucking
about?
predators,
Yes,
this
they
guy
do.
isn't. So she feels
Bullshit.
safe
I know
around
girls
him.
who do
He
that.
maybe treats her nicely and she has a nice time
No,
around him. She isn't staying because
no.
he's
And he's
smart.
good in bed.
admire.
And he's
Come
good in
on,
bed.
I'm
man.
sorry,
If you
there are
can
lots
touch their
of smart-
cervix, they're usually put up with a lot of shit.
there are a lot of starving artists.
I'm
men out
just,
there who
I know
are
this for a fact.
financially
I
And
literally
because
was
the
just
artists
hanging
are
out with a girl that
hot.
makes
It's not
like
because the artists are
20K a year.
smart.
She's got like a whatever, and she goes, "I'll put up with anything if they can fucking hit my cervix." So I know that
Or
I'm.
they can
I know this is
fuck.
a fact.
That part too, they're laying it down in the fucking bedroom. The girl is dickmatized, but no
Well,
girl is
yeah,
staying with a guy
no.
over IQ.
This
It's gonna
is
be
the guy's honest
safety.
truth.
If he's
No,
gonna be
dude.
safe.
I'm
She's
not-
gonna be
okay,
safe
These
around
okay,
him.
are the facts.
He's
I
fun,
see
or
this
he's
okay.
dicking her
every
down.
day. You know, if he stops,
But like,
becoming
no, the
anecdotal,
brain isn't
when it's
getting
a
her
pattern,
pussy
I see
pumping.
it
I'm
every
sorry.
day.
I'm sorry. Okay, you don't know
You're
women
the-
if you don't think that's true. You think
apparently you don't know
I'm
women
not
anymore.
gonna lie.
That's
Yeah, I
crazy.
don't.
Are you joking?
Let's let her respond.
Okay, first of all, I'm
All she's been doing is
shocked.
responding.
Oh my God, Gibbs. Okay, I'm shocked at this. Okay, that you guys actually think that speaking like you've all mentioned charisma. What do you think charisma is? Charisma is about being witty, telling good jokes. It's about being able to make references. It's about being able to be interesting. Okay, that's a part of charisma. Okay, those are signs of intelligence when you're talking to people. That's why humor is something that that women like to see
Can
in
we
men.
define
They like men who
intelligence?
make them laugh. Okay.
Wait, can we define intelligence?
know
Because like
some
if
of the
having
stupidest
good,
people
if
I
having
know.
It's
risen
difficult
that like
things to
having
do, by the
knowledge
way.
of like social topics, maybe like TV shows,
Therefore, it
whatever,
doesn't
maybe
exist.
being funny, like
Well, it doesn't exist.
what is
in this room, that much we
intelligent?
can be sure. Okay.
Like,
I
I
just,
mean,
like,
I was gonna reference Jersey Shore. If you can just make a girl laugh because you know like basic knowledge of shit that's going on.
Dude, it's not just
Yeah, like some of the stupidest people I know have charisma. Jersey Shore is a great example.
No,
It's like,
dude,
do you
okay,
think anybody at Jersey Shore is a fucking genius? No, but they've all
No,
developed
but-
independent, multi-million empires, basically. So you're sitting here going, "Oh well, we need to check all these boxes." Well, these are some of those retarded people on earth, generational level
Okay,
alcohol.
okay,
and
look.
some of
They're
drug
rich
users,
and they're
and
hot,
they're able-
Gibbs. They're not a good sample.
Oh, rich and they're hot. So like, basically, I think
Yeah,
this
but
is
if you're
the
good
point,
looking,
though. Well,
generally
who
you're
is-
probably not worried about how you speak. You probably can speak
Yeah,
more better to women when
Hey,
you're doing
Hold
it. It's
on,
just you
though.
have
If
to
you're
be
hot-
experienced.
But let's talk about that. Like, if you go to gym culture, some of the horniest people in the world that we know are fucking is gym culture.
Yeah, because they have good vascular systems. They
True.
actually,
Sure,
yeah.
because they have good vascular system. But you know, some of the dumbest people in the world, also the gym culture. Because
No.
they're like, I'm gonna fucking take some creatine, I'm gonna do some steroids, and I'm gonna look good. And these guys are fucking.
No, why is it always a dumb as bricks person? These are just people of like average intelligence, right? They're
And
just
they-
not geniuses,
hold on,
and they're
have-
getting
And
by.
they have huge
Okay,
charisma.
stop.
They have huge
I
charisma.
gotta
Like,
respond.
it's just
I gotta
you're
respond to
wrong.
this. First of all, exercise is it's actually correlated with intelligence, right? That's yes. It could be
All right, so
that
Corey was
you
right.
personally.
the scale variability thing is bullshit.
No,
Bro, this is
What?
this
You're
is- I
saying
don't believe
every
that at
time we
all.
say something,
What
it's
kind
like,
of
no, this
bull?
person
Where
is
do you
actually
go?
intelligent. Every guy apparently
Ali,
is
you're
just
coping
No,
right now.
you guys
What-
have.
I'm not
here-
coping. I
here's
think I'm on the other
stupid
end of
people.
it.
here's what this is. You
I think women
you
are
guys
smarter than men.
you guys have this like the stereotypical idea built up where it's like, you know, oh yeah, this Chad fucking brickhead, you know, who's just, you know, that is a typical
You
like
sound like
jack
Destiny
guy.
trying to explain to me
And
how to
I-
dig
I-
fish post.
first of
No,
all,
hold on.
never
This is
say
what
that
you sound
again,
like.
okay?
You sound
Firstly,
like Destiny trying to explain to
ouch.
fish post, like how to
No.
do it. Because you're like, you're going, this
Way
data,
too far.
It says that you can build fish post over here, and I'm like, you're retarded. Like, you can't build a fifth post this way. You can't fucking say all these gym people are super retarded. There are smart gym people, sure, but that are sitting here doing the bioscience and biohacking, and they're coming up with the cool, perfect steroid combo. Yeah, maybe those guys figure out super serum. But so I know some dumbasses that are like, I'm taking bullshot testosterone.
Yeah,
and
yes.
those guys far
I know.
outnumber the fucking smart people.
No,
And
they
get
don't.
laid
No, they
more than almost
don't.
anybody I know.
No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't.
They are.
A
Sorry,
specific.
Greg, I agree.
I would not be surprised, and I could be wrong on this, and I have no
you have
data.
6% body
Oh my
fat,
God,
you get
Gibbs. I'm. I'm trying to roll with. I don't actually have empirical data from what I'm about to say. I'm just rolling with intuition because that's apparently what we do here. Okay. It wouldn't surprise me if the specific cohort of like steroid-taking meatheads, the people who are willing to take steroids in order to accomplish certain goals, like bodybuilding goals, perhaps that the IQ of this specific demographic could be, I don't know if it is, but could be lower than the general gym going and exercising population. It could be too that this specific cohort might get laid a whole bunch. This does not go towards the general trends. This does not go towards the general trends that we know, which is that people who are in good shape tend to have higher IQ, not only because people who are smarter tend to like be more interested in looking after their health, but also it like having the vascular improvements in your cardiovascular system literally helps remove brain fog and depression and all sorts of things that negatively affect IQ.
I don't know when we changed to the jocks are now the smart ones too. Like I don't know when, like what
it's total bullshit. Is what
like where does the trope come from?
Wait,
I need
a jock is a stereotype. That's a different cat. I'm pretty sure Lacto is not referring to the jocks. No, I could be wrong.
Yeah, but hold on. Listen, is Conor McGregor going to right to fucking win a Nobel Prize for intelligence?
It's a stereotype.
No, he's not. How about Nate Diaz? No, he's not. Like, I mean, I can sit here. There's way more Nate Diaz.
Haven't they all been hit in the head like 20 million times or something?
And you don't think the guys that are on steroids having problems are getting hit in the head? These guys are all getting laid in large numbers. And this is the point. They're all getting fucking, and they
but they also get CTE.
Hold on. They take up this 20% area that y'all keep talking about. That's the whole key.
I think the issue I think the issue is like FQ you know, can you tell me here if I'm a little bit right? Is that we're so now we're painting the jocks like fucking Chad Michael Murray in One Tree Hill, which is just like the great basketball player who loves to sit at home and read books. He's a poet, he's a novice, he loves his reading, but he's also just a phenomenal fucking 3-point shooter all day. It's just like yes, that guy's idolized on TV. I'm sure that he exists in the towns, right? But like
we're talking about general trends, okay?
General athletes are more intelligent than the regular student populace.
Generally speaking, people that are athletes in high school are smart. They tend to get good grades. You have to get good grades in order to be an athlete. If you've ever been in athletics,
you actually have to have average grades.
No, you don't. If you're at a good school, you cheat.
Okay, well,
hold on. I was doing
also cheat for you.
The school will cheat for you.
The school will also encourage you to maintain that average.
Nevertheless.
Oh, that's crazy. This is how I know you don't live in the real world because you're saying stuff
like, this is where studies get you guys.
They literally would tutor you, and you would just do their
Lactoid, this is what you do.
Okay, Gibbs. Okay, can I just pause right here, okay? What the hell are you talking about? This whole real bullshit. I've been in the real world.
Because you keep saying these things
for the past year. What do you mean real world? Okay, like you have no right to sit there and to talk about how.
I do have the right because what you're saying, is just not realistic. Like I'm sitting here going through real lived experience. I was an athlete my whole life till I destroyed my body.
You think the rest of us don't have real experience either? I know athletes in high school.
Okay. Listen, which college did you go to? What sports did you play? Let's go through it because I can sit here playing at a high level at all the colleges and high schools I went to. We were the winningest program in high school of all time in Texas for football. Do you think at the winningest program of all time
complimented by this conversation that I don't know why you're upset.
Guess what they're doing? I mean, because I'm telling you, you're wrong. I'm just sad. I don't care if it's a compliment that you think you're smart and athletic, but I'm just telling you that's not how it is. These people were cheating. If you have these advantages, they try to get you there one way or the other.
Look, okay, we are talking about broad population trends. That is what we are talking about, okay? That is what we are talking about. We're talking about
for the school of over 5,000
Don't interrupt
per class.
Okay?
Well, you interrupted me the whole time there. If it's a school where it's got 20,000 people at it, would you say that is a
big interrupted her the entire time? Like, come on.
Yeah, because I've been getting interrupted every time I speak. It's fine. Listen, we all interrupt each other, and then when one person does it, they bitch back. That's fine. I'm just saying, you're sitting there going general trends. A school of 20,000 is a bigger.
Okay. Let her respond, please.
Okay. All right. First of all, Gibbs, you're a friend. I like you. Okay. Peace and love. Okay. This is not meant to be like a mean thing. Okay. Or anything like that. Okay. Like what we're just talking about is we're talking about broad general trends. Okay. After you talk to Doobie, I do want to make a suggestion because I did bring up part of the reason why I think that there is a discrepancy. And I do think that it has to do with intelligence, like as it relates to education. I think that's something that people don't talk about enough. Like I do think that lowered academic achievement is impacting boys, Zoomers specifically in dating. I don't know if it's impacting millennial men as well, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think that that's having an impact, and I have a theory because I'm a teacher of why these declines have happened and what could be done potentially to reverse them. So I just wanted to put that out there.
And then I'll let in my man Doobie first. All right, so Doobie first. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. So I really want to, I wanted to hear what your thoughts on all of this were. I mean,
10 words or less.
From the past that you've told me, it seems like you were you could comfortably be classified as a Chad, right? From what you've said. And so I'm really curious as to what you've had to say about this, and especially like you've managed to find a long-term partner who is allegedly attractive. Now, I have no evidence of this. I've never been shown a picture, even though we're friends. But that goes to supposedly evidence of you being quite successful in this area. And so, like, hearing all these far less successful people talk, I'm curious, so that was at me too. To be clear, that was a shot at me myself.
It's true,
well, right?
I mean, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I have a wife. I think me and Doobs have at the same level at that point.
No.
And believe it or not, I have slept with more than 2 women. I promise.
Okay. You have a wife, and shout out to your wife, and you know what? I know exactly how attractive his wife is because I've seen evidence of that. Just because Ali and I are actually friends. I don't know. That's just a thing that happened there. But
he posted that in the group chat, Prime.
He probably because he's cool with everybody, right? That's what he does, right?
We're all friends,
right? Who says like, hey, I want to share this with other people, right? In my life, that's what Ali does. He's that type of person. Not everyone here is that type of person, any which way, right? But Ali, all I'm saying is that I don't know, and it's because I just don't know your past enough, right? If you've had Doobie's level of experiences in this area. Maybe you have. I don't know, right? I'm just saying I'm unaware of that. But Doobie, love to hear your thoughts.
I think Gibbs and Ellie are entirely correct. I think you guys are fucking crazy. You sound like nerds. You sound like people who were like at home studying, on Saturday night while the dumb fucks that worked at the gas station were other fucking. Like honestly.
Bro.
There are like specific clubs in LA that I've gone to where the reason you went to that club is it was full of really wealthy white chicks who just wanted to fuck a stupid brown guy. To be honest with you, it's the reason they went to the club. That was the entire reason they're there.
Be a foreign American.
So it's just I don't know. I feel like this is like I don't even know how to explain it. You're like over
intellectualizing.
Yeah, a very simple fucking caveman thing. Okay. Gibbs said it best, right? He mentioned something. The guys with the time, right? If you're broke as fuck and you're not somebody with a lot of drive, you don't really have a lot of goals. You're totally happy being mediocre or even below mediocre and having just a fucking grocery store job or whatever. You're gonna have way more time than a lactoid, right? Than me currently, actually. So those guys have a lot of time to sit on their fucking phone and text girls on Tinder. Or hit up their best friend's girlfriend or ex-girlfriend, and just give her all the attention and validation she wants, like how pretty she is, so pretend they're interested in her entire fucking life and her whole day. Most guys don't have. If you're like a successful person, you don't really have time.
Smoke some meth real quick,
right? Which is why my wife does that for me, right? And she's the one gets all the women that we hook up with. So I just don't these guys are fucking far more than I think the average intellectual high IQ guy, right? I don't think it's something people even think about.
That might be true, but that's those different goals, short term versus long term. And
hold on, but this is is another thing. I don't think people even think about this. Right? I don't even think people even think about this when they're out there looking for a partner. They look for this guy,
they do.
Safe, stable, have an income. Men and women just have different standards, right? It's totally socially acceptable for a woman to just have no job and just kind of lay at home all day. Hopefully washing dishes or something, right? But totally fine for her to be unemployed and lazy as fuck, right? It's typical. That's socially acceptable. For guys like that, do you think of him as like a piece of shit loser, right? or the broke boyfriend, right? Who's going to do the broke boyfriend hug behind his girl at the fucking counter when she's buying him some candy or some shit. It's like, this is so. Yeah, I understand it. They're looking for like a long-term relationship, sure. But what typically happens, I think, in these kind of situations is the chick gets knocked up. Her successful career path falls apart eventually, or she just ends up with a baby daddy that she fucking hates for the rest of her life, and he's out fucking other people, making more children with like intelligent women. It's like it's
nothing you're saying now contradicts what we've been saying though. You're disagreeing with us, but you're not.
How?
No, nobody hears.
I'm agreeing with.
Nobody hears.
And Ellie.
No, nobody here said the dumb gas station people aren't getting fucking or fucking. Yes, they're fucking.
They're
having children.
Too.
They're getting STIs.
Is that
hypergamy is though?
No, hypergamy is about selecting a partner. There's long-term thinking associated with it.
Hypergamy applies to like 5% of women.
Does this? Okay, but
like, it actually applies to like 5% of women.
Who sits there and actually writes out like some fucking sociopath? Like exactly the kind of person looking for, then targets that specific kind of person, like a fucking like spider or something. It's nobody does that. Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm not saying you have to do that.
People who do that are the type of women who put in a poison in their fucking husbands.
No, stop, Doobie. I'm not saying.
Common thing. I'm sorry.
Look, not everyone's like me. Not everyone is gonna like fucking be that hyper specific and weird about it. Okay. When it comes to most of the time, it is like vibes, right? It is like there's goals that women have in the back of their mind, and they're feeling people out. And when it comes to hypergamy, what we're talking about specifically is women's hypergamy, where they are trying to select for successful men, for ambitious men, for men who they feel that can provide for them, which is exactly what you just mentioned, Doobie. And if you're saying that there is this desire that women have to find a man long term who can provide for them, this is what we're saying. Like this has been the whole discussion. We're not having the discussion. Do a whole gaggle of like ultra low proles, lumpen proletariats, are they all getting in a pile and just like churning out children and STDs? I'm sure this is happening to some extent.
Wait. Women aren't.
Yes, I've seen.
First of all, women that are seeking out successful.
It's real, but that does not. Again, that's not a disagreement.
The women that are seeking out.
Okay, go ahead.
The women that are seeking out like the high value or the successful man or the whatever it may be, these are a subsect of women. The average people are looking at average people. So long as you're not a fucking jobless bum, right? If you can just have if you're decent, all you have to do is not be a jobless bum, and you can meet an average girl, and you can be fine and get married and have a whole thing. This whole hypergamy thing.
It's a spectrum.
Yeah, and most people are in the middle of the spectrum where it's like, hey, I'm not going to be able to attain a successful man. And for the guys, they're not going to be able to attain a model. People are on average settling.
I understand. Yes, I understand that people do like ultimately settle, and there's like all sorts of different factors at play. But generally speaking, like you said, he needs to have like a job. He needs to not be like a bum.
Even the wrong way to
but the better the job, the better the job.
Fall in love with him or whatever. Like you're not settling for the. It's like actually I want to fucking Chad. I know Chad.
Doobie, are you denying? Doobie, are you denying that a man's income is not related to his ability to get a long-term partner? Are you really making that claim?
Actually, it really depends. So yes and no, right? So because Lactoid, again, the vast majority of people, I think if I were to look into this, I'd find that people at the upper income level are less likely to have like long-term relationships that last their entire lives, because at that level you also get a lot of people who are specifically seeking out for your money, who are maybe these hypergamous women who you're looking for, and
they have longer lasting relationships.
They hold on.
Lower divorce though? Yes, lower divorce rate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But wait, hold on.
Because they're not fighting about money all the time, because they can problem solve, because they're smart. Yes.
Or because the woman isn't going to leave because the lifestyle is better.
Or that potentially that too.
Yeah, but that isn't indicative of like a successful long-term relationship if the girl's just not going to leave because you have money or because she's addicted or because she's accustomed to the lifestyle.
It's fulfilling what she's looking for. No, hold on.
It's more to Doobie's point where like you have the people that you maybe
they're separated from
hypergamy bitches.
No, it is fulfilling what she's looking for in that circumstance. But secondly, again, on the metrics of happiness and the metrics of marriage success in terms of like marriage happiness, all these things, yes, people with higher income and higher IQ do better. Corey's right. Doobie, I understand, like, again, there's all these stereotypes about this, a lot of which are crafted to make subpar people feel better about themselves. But a lot of it's simply not true.
But it's not just a stereotype, Lactoid. So just think about it like this. So I'm a pretty wealthy guy. right? I don't have a prenup. I intentionally did not get a prenup.
Yeah,
I refused to get a prenup.
I know.
Right?
I had
I know you think
something
it's a
to say
terrible
about
idea.
that. Yeah.
I get it. You told me it's a terrible idea,
Mhm.
but because I don't have this prenup, I will stick around and work through things that I think an average poor person who doesn't have a whole lot of like wealth they're going to lose if their marriage fails, they might be way more willing to walk away than I will, right? Because it's easier for them. They don't have the fucking mountain of shit to lose. So it doesn't them having like longer marriages or whatever, lower divorce rates, doesn't it always mean that these are healthy marriages or that these are just like happy people, right? It doesn't
They are
necessarily mean that.
happier. They're literally rated happier.
Hold on, are they happier with each other or are they just happier because they got money?
No, so they're happier across the board. Generally, they're more likely to have successful relationships, and they're more likely to rate those like relationships as better. Like they're just again because so much of this has to do with if you're high IQ, you're broadly speaking, not every single person, but you're broadly speaking going to be better at problem solving, and you're going to have the resources available to also solve problems that may otherwise be unsolvable to somebody who doesn't have a lot of money. This is in large part why hypergamous women, which is most of them, are seeking a man who can provide them something, and the more the better generally. But yes, there's going to be women who are going to settle for what they hey, this is a good amount. There's all these other things and then obviously there's personal connection. All these things kind of factor in. The debate here is not saying like every woman is just some mindless drone that's going to drop you at the drop of a hat and go with somebody richer.
Yeah, I understand.
Nobody's saying that.
Do you really think that like women are like the average woman, right? Is when she's dating around or whatever, when she meets a guy and they really connect and she's got like feelings for him, like she's really sitting down and thinking like, okay, I really love this guy, but he doesn't make $100,000, so but I love him, so I'm going to settle for him. Or is it just, hey, I love this guy, we can build a future together, and maybe someday we'll be wealthy, maybe someday we won't, but it doesn't really matter, because we're happy together. I don't think of this as like settling. This is just people who found their partner.
I can answer this.
They're not interested in looking for someone, or if they met somebody that had like more income, but they weren't as in love with, they wouldn't be interested in that person anyway. So it's not really settling. They're just finding their match.
I think
I would agree with you, Doobie, but what I would say is that I do think that has to do with intelligence, right? And that's why I think that like income, and when we're talking about all this stuff, these are proxies for intelligence, because ultimately I agree with you. I think there are lots of people who would settle for a partner who is not able to provide if he was sufficiently intelligent enough.
No, but you keep saying settle. My issue is with the word settle, because the implication is that they want something, they want another person, but they're going to settle for this person because they feel like it's the best they can do.
I shouldn't have used the word settle. I should have used the word settle. That's not, I guess, like what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying, I'm saying that like what women I think ultimately are looking for is somebody to intellectually connect with. That is the thing that is being desired.
Let's not. Hold on.
Yes.
Black Boy knows now knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Let's not go too far. But Doobie, the problem the settle actually is a good word, because there are probably some level of women who are actually like doing the calculation. Yeah, he's like a fucking janitor at a gas station, but he's really nice. He's really funny. He makes me feel blah blah blah. Maybe I'll just go down that route. I think it's obvious that there is a lot of people that are explicitly doing that mental calculation, but I think there's a much larger portion of people that are not explicitly doing it, but are still doing it, right? What they're thinking is, does this person make me feel safe? Is this person able to take me on interesting experiences and solve problems for me? Is this person able to do XYZ, XYZ, XYZ? And all of that is, in large part, if they're really smart and really rich, right? And so this is what like the actual thought process is, and this is what hypergamy is. This is why they're looking for somebody who's wealthy.
So I'm going to go to Gibbs. I'm sorry, I've been a little bit distracted, stuff behind the scenes, and I missed like what the disagreement was on the word settle. But I would say that yeah, a lot of people I think I would agree with Lactoid, at least what he said. Again, if I missed something, then I do apologize. But like, I think a lot of people do those calculations. I think a lot of women do those calculations. I think that like, especially like if they're aging, right? And they're wanting to start a family. Not saying that like an Asian woman is
everyone's aging,
like,
well, except for that Brian Johnson guy.
I'm glad you pointed that out. Thank you so much. But no, but like, yeah, but if they're like looking to start a family, right? Clock's ticking. And they're like, well, what are the chances that the next guy after this one will be be my Prince Charming, right? Like, well, okay, this guy he's stable, right? He's kind to me. And sometimes through the fog of his stupidity, he makes me laugh. So like,
but Prime, you're doing it too. Like, so sometimes the fucking janitor who comes home smelling like shit is the Prince Charming for these women. Okay, like I think that's how people actually behave.
I think that's possibility. I think it's absolutely on. Gibbs, hold on 1 second, please. I think that's absolutely true, right? That like, not necessarily a person who makes a lot of money will be. Is their soulmate or the person they should be with 100%. So I'm with you there. But even then, like if we're not looking on the metric of money, right? Like on like just pure compatibility, right? Like that combined metric, right? Like how do you know? Like if this person is at a 70% compatibility, how do you know the next person will be at 95, right? And so people like make the calculation, hey, 70 is we're all staying, right? Because you're literally gambling. You're gambling with your time. You're gambling with and resources that you may get or you may not get. You're gambling with your future children. You're gambling with all of that. So yeah, there's a matter of settling, right? Like this is the best hand I will be dealt, and so I'll play this one. So
I disagree with that vehemently. I think a real easy way we can see that this is true is we look at what women's idea of romance is. And I think one way we can look at this is looking at media, written and filmed, right? And let's just start with, I'm going to start with one of the most famous love stories ever that's ever premiered. How about the movie Titanic, right? And in that, the person that's intelligent, who's rich, who admittedly goes on to marry the main character.
True story, by the way. Documentary.
Hold on. I didn't say what's your story. I said it's romance, right? It's a written romance film media. And right. So what he does in that, he's the character who at the end marries her, lasts 50 years, has children with her. And at the end of this, the woman's loyalty is not to that man who gave her a perfect life with his intelligence and money. It's the guy that she had a 3-day fling with and then allowed to die afterwards. No loyalty. She was cheating. So if this is a happy marriage,
she was a terrible person for that, by the way.
Don't interrupt me. I got more. We got plenty more where this came from. Let's go.
It's been proven that only one person could have fit on that door.
Oh, the door. Yeah, the door thing is terrible. That is true. The door thing is
James Cameron proved the truth that actually he could put 2 people on there. Actually, he did his own little study. Like,
okay. I agree.
I'm not done. I'm not done. I'm waiting for 45 minutes. And here's the next thing.
You have not been waiting for 45 minutes. Go ahead.
But fine. Here we go. We got another. Have you watched the channel Hallmark? I don't know if you've seen this, but every Hallmark Christmas movie is about homegirl coming down to her hometown from big city New York or big city Chicago or the week, and then she's got this husband who just can't come down, or fiance can't come down because he's got this big business meeting that's going to, set them up for life. And then what do? They cheat on him with their dumbass hometown sweetheart that was an idiot in high school, hasn't grown up, and still reminds them of that they grew up with. That's what how did you see the movie Just Friends? Have we seen that one? Her smart, intelligent best friend, who she eventually figures out she's in love with after dating all these other people. She chose all the dumbasses and the guys all before the intelligent guy. This is what women choose repeatedly. How about 51st Date? We can go all down the list. The ugly truth. They didn't pick the good one. They picked the dumbass that was over here hitting up all the bitches. No. Like, this is what they do over and over. Women's idea of romance is cheating. So if you're going to tell me that these long-term marriages are working out all this shit, Doobie's absolutely correct. It's not a measurement if they're happy. They definitely just have stakes on the line for the most part. I just see this repeatedly happening all the time. And some of the people that are the happiest long-term marriages are the ones that are so stupid that they would never consider cheating because it's just not a thought that crossed their mind because they don't have enough brain cells for that.
But they couldn't imagine the concept of cheating?
It's too hard.
Are these people like on fucking life support? What the fuck?
They're definitely on maybe like Down syndrome, but either way, I don't know.
Okay.
They're on Down syndrome.
They're on that
I'm
Down
taking
syndrome.
some Down syndrome.
We're on the
Take a
down
little
low of
bounty
that
action,
syndrome.
bro.
I guess I have like a couple of responses to both. I guess to Doobie and to first of all to Gibbs. The cheating thing. You and I think it was Majid I had this conversation with. You guys have this bizarre like idea about cheating, which is that if you have had a boyfriend or a girlfriend from like 25 or 30 years ago, and you still think about that boyfriend or that girlfriend, the boyfriend could be dead.
I didn't say that.
But if you still think about him, then it's cheating. I
No, that's
distinctly
not cheating.
remember you and Majid.
No, what I said, it's
ridiculous.
hold on.
thing.
I said that.
Crazy.
Hold on. What I said was this is the problem with what happened is I don't know about what Majid said, but what I was saying is say you have a significant other and they had a boyfriend that they were dating that they were in love with, and this person dies like middle, like and they have these strong feelings that he didn't have any negative qualities or didn't have enough that they didn't like. It's someone that will become not a cheating situation, but someone that you can become compared to anytime something goes wrong, and that could cause strife within your relationship because they have like died and this person they wouldn't have had a long enough term to find out the flaws. They never had their closure, so you're just compared against this unrealistic standard of this rose-colored picture of what they have in their mind from a dead person. That's what I said, not that it was cheating. That's totally different.
Well,
so don't paint me with this bullshit.
Majid, okay, but then maybe it was just Majid. Maybe I'm lumping unfairly the pair of you together. I apologize if that is the case.
Okay.
However, okay.
Even friends have bad taste sometimes.
Okay. Well, I guess like as far as like what Doobie and I guess maybe like what Gibbs is saying, like with, you know, like when you're a wealthier person, like you have a lot of people that like want to marry you for your money. I mean, I hate to bring this back full circle to the beginning of this conversation, but this is why people are classist, right? This is why I mean, I've seen this like in like families that I've known in my own family, okay? Like typically, like there is a lot of social pressure that when you bring a significant other to the Thanksgiving table, that significant other has a job that is similar to yours. Like my brother, he's a doctor, okay? His last girlfriend, she was a dentist, okay? The next person who he dates probably will also be a doctor, okay? And that's something that is actively encouraged like by both of my parents for specifically the reason that like you mentioned.
If he dated a dentist, he dated down. But go ahead.
But like the point is that like somebody that's like somebody that is like roughly within your own circle, right?
I'm just kidding.
This is but this is the reason like why okay these types of pressures exist, okay? Because it is true there are people who, and it's not just women to be honest with you. I mean men also like want to marry up. There are cases of men who don't make a lot of money, okay, who aren't successful in school, who are happy to sink their claws into somebody that makes more money than they do, okay, who want to use women.
Wait a minute. Hold on. Why did you say sink their claws in terms of a man like reaching up to a better
because that's how she sees it.
Yeah, because the other way around, you didn't use that kind of like
in this discussion
for a woman.
In this discussion, if the average woman is like a higher IQ than men, then she's dumbing herself down. She has to date a lower IQ guy. Yeah. Are you serious? She has to resort to dating a lower IQ guy.
Let me just
then
say,
share the higher IQ guys.
Let me just say this as like a general principle, okay? This is not always true, by the way. Sometimes there are great guys who can be great stay-at-home dads, okay, who make a wonderful meals, okay, who are great with kids, okay? I'm not saying there's nobody who can do this, but generally speaking, okay, most men are not socialized in the same way as women in order to take care of the household. Like, I'm sorry, but like the stereotype, I'm looking at all of your backgrounds right now, okay? The stereotype of like the single leather armchair in the middle of a room and the walls are blank and there's a huge TV set. There's a coffee table that's littered with Bud Light. There's a random tube sock on the floor, a ripped up thing of duct tape nearby. There's a Himalayan, tower of like pizza boxes in the trash can that hasn't been taken out. And everything for some reason is black and fucking dark green and brown and mustard yellow.
Very judgmental.
So you don't like the aesthetic?
I'm not just talking about.
You judge based off the
every
aesthetic.
Every man talking about the aesthetic. She's not just talking about the aesthetic. Come on.
Every man here could probably be happy with that setup.
Yes, that's the problem.
You just don't need it. Oh, that's the problem. Not the women who have all these issues with the setup. Not all the men in the world.
You're right. Instead, we should have boho. That's what we should have.
Oh yeah.
Fancy curtains.
Like fancy ass LED lights all over my house. My wife said it looked like a club. She wouldn't let me do it.
I just want to know
See,
what's
this
more
is the
likely
thing.
if every man in the world would be okay with something, or if and everybody's fine with that, or one woman and a few women standard is not okay with it. Who's more likely to be in the wrong there?
Okay,
Obviously,
look. The general thing that I'm trying to say is that men are generally more neglectful of the appearance of things, and that can be a problem. They are generally more neglectful to the comfort of like how the home feels, like when you walk in. They are generally more neglectful of what other people appear and how they perceive them out in public. Okay, that's why we're having this back and forth about clothes. Okay, like that is a general thing.
But men don't care about how they.
I know,
like that.
I know.
Well, no,
I
care about how I look in
But
public.
if 50% of the population doesn't care about it, hold on. If 50% of the population doesn't care about it, and a small segment of women do, well, a larger segment of women don't. Guess what?
Cleaning is for gays and women.
Basically, cleaning's for the gays and women. And it's not even all the gays and women. It's just for a super small.
And just start fucking throwing them willy nilly.
Okay. Look, listen. Okay, when I'm thinking about my son, okay, or my daughter at home, okay, and when I'm thinking about them getting dressed to go to school, how they treat other people when they go out in public, how they present themselves, what they do outside when they leave the house, okay?
You want them to be the same?
No, I want the person that socializes them to socialize them to be appropriate and to be successful and savvy out in the world.
Do you have like a live, love, laugh sign on your wall? Like one of those like
Fuck you.
poles.
Fuck you.
You do.
Oh, so you do. So you fucking called it.
Fuck off.
Wait. Do
So
you actually?
Live, love,
yes,
laugher.
you do. I knew it.
Fuck off.
Yeah, she does.
She does?
I don't. First of all,
She's saying
Live,
no.
laugh, love, baby.
fuck off. Okay, I know what you're
I
talking
got like
about.
those random fucking like almost like those
Inspirational quotes.
with like inspirational.
Maybe a list somewhere.
It's
Like
just, it's just Instagram captions all over their house.
Like
Fuck you. Look, I look, okay, because of the fact that generally, not every single person, but generally, men are more neglectful of these things. I would be afraid that my son, especially, but also my daughter, when they left the house to go into social situations, that they would ruin opportunities for themselves because they weren't socialized or taught how to behave or how to dress or how to present themselves, like when they go out in public. Like, and I'm sorry, but this is something that men generally care less about. My daughter, her hair is going to be askew. My son, he's going to have like fucking tomato sauce.
I appreciate that. This is why I don't need to see an ugly woman outside without makeup. I appreciate
all over his shirt. Okay, like.
I mean, like, have you ever heard of just like not giving a shit sometimes? Like, I think that's part of what men have the emotional intelligence, I guess, as a species, which is a real low IQ thing for us to just realize sometimes.
Man, you gotta change your camera because every time you say small, that shit just goes crazy, dog.
Zoom it in, bro. Like, it's trying to emphasize the fact that y'all are sitting here worrying about all this bullshit. And like men, 50% of men, most of us have realized a lot of this shit just don't matter. It just don't matter.
Yeah, but it does matter. That's not true.
No, it doesn't matter. No,
it does matter to an extent.
Hold on. If all men realize,
there's no bugs,
just let you give a speech. Hold on. If 50% of the population agrees, for the most part, it doesn't matter. It's not important, and only except for a few.
Because that's not true.
Hold on. Hold on. Except for a few certain circumstances where it's like, oh, we have to dress up now. Maybe don't wear swear pants to the tuxedo. Hold on, Prime. I see you waving me. Everybody else went talk. I'm gonna talk now. I'm sitting here going, hey, like Jesus Christ, like y'all are sitting here worried.
Can you zoom in
about
more?
This bullshit. You can't tell me. I can. You can't tell me.
Don't challenge me.
You can't tell me that you're gonna say like this. Hey, this is the rule society. If you have less than 20% of population saying, "Oh, this is what happens," and you have a larger segment, your segment doesn't matter.
A little bit of
You're the
pushback on that,
minority.
though,
We
right?
don't
Like,
care.
come on, honey. No. Like here, like.
You look like Tim
So
Allen's neighbor.
I've told you all before, right? That I lived on a co-ed dorm floor, right? And there was the boys' rooms, right? And there was a look to the boys' rooms, right? Then you would go across the way, right? Visit one of your female friends,
And the girls' rooms were disgusting.
And it was like stepping in a different world.
Yeah, like hoarders.
No.
Yeah, it was disgusting. They had like shit all over the floor. Their bathroom had like 50 hairs.
All of them. It was
gross.
like this, like beautiful like loft.
I mean, frat house versus sorority house.
Like,
no, wrong. It's like if you've lived with women, women are some of the grossest people on earth.
What I'm trying to say is that like I can't say that I didn't enjoy being in the ladies' rooms, like not for like the lady, but I'm just like for like the decor, right? Like, hey, like I think the women do bring something valuable to the table. When they like make a space like more livable.
Just
right?
don't check under
Where
the toilet
like,
lid. Whatever you do.
Well, that's not true at all. I know
Yeah.
so many women that like have the most disgusting houses. So like
I'm
my
not
dorm
saying they don't
experience,
exist.
my
I'm
dorm
not saying they
experience
don't
was a
exist.
nice dorm. I had a nice co-ed dorm, and it was the exact opposite. Some of these girls have the nicest outfits. You
Gibbs,
go to
a
the
frat
club,
house versus
beautiful.
a sorority house. The
Yeah.
sorority
Okay,
house
frat
is
house,
always
sorority
cleaner
house,
than
sure.
the frat house.
Sure,
Like,
I'll grant that one. But when you're
but that's what
going,
like a guy. That's like a true guy college like apartment living would be like the frat house. That's what a guy
when you're
actually
talking about
wants to live
co-ed
in, which is
dorms,
fucking beer
co-ed
cans
dorms,
everywhere.
Hold on. My college, we didn't have very many frat sorority because they was frowned upon. Like that was just like you were gay if you were in a frat sorority, and we were one of the biggest colleges in the world, right? So when you're sitting here going, "Hey, you're telling me these things," like I know a huge swath of people are sitting here going like this, and when you're going, "Oh, all the women are nice," you're sitting here talking about a certain subset, and that's the Fairy Queen subset, where they have not the nice organized house, and they have their little live, laugh, love, and then maybe their heritage thing on the wall.
Yeah, girls are kind
What
of
is with
disgusting.
this
things
fucking
about
live,
it.
laugh,
Like,
love? I do
oh,
not have this sign.
Well, you probably listen. I bet you have a poster that's got like something
Yeah, you
about
do.
all the rules of the Irish or some bullshit. Instead of
Exactly.
that, we got
The
It's like a
Irish.
fucking
yeah,
map.
yeah,
Fucking
it's
map.
He's
insane.
got,
It's-
Irish.
hold
he's
on,
got
hold
a
on, hold on.
poster
But
of
there's
a
just-
kitten on a
but-
laundry line with a caption
Yeah,
hanging
exactly.
But that's not the
there.
point. The point is, there's just as many of these trashy women that are dumbasses and do all these things that don't care about this. So you're arguing
No.
that this small subset of humanity, which is
No,
this
dude.
academic group, is somehow pushing societal standards upon the rest of us, and we're all like, "No, you're wrong," and like
Yes,
you're just being
you
dumb
cavemen
and big
are.
brain.
You know wear loincloth outside.
$20 from Zonia. Thank you, Zonia. And anyone else, you can also super chat. Super chats are available on YouTube. Thank you. Gay men clean up well. Was
That
it
is
was
true.
it was it Lagtoid we said that previously, right? Like yes. Shout out to our gay brothers.
That is true, actually. And one of the interesting
you,
things,
Sonia.
like if you look at like research about academic trends and about like boys like falling behind in school, you will see that it seems like gay men are actually falling behind less in comparison to straight men in school. There does seem to be something about, which by the way goes back to this thing about presenting yourself, cleaning up well, taking care of yourself, right? And
Have you
also,
ever been into another woman's restroom? Like when she's not planning for you to be there?
Mm-hmm.
yes,
Like,
many
I
times.
rest my case.
Come
I
on.
rest my case. It's
Okay.
disgusting.
Girls are disgusting
Fucking
creatures.
words,
It's like
honestly.
Chewbacca. Have you seen
from their
Sorority
period, women
Boys?
do not
Oh, come on, you
fuck
guys.
people,
Okay, come on.
okay?
You guys that cannot pretend to like not understand what I'm saying. I'm being very clear, okay? There are
No,
going to be
you're wrong.
situations.
That's why we're.
No, I'm not.
we're
There.
sitting here
Okay.
saying this.
If my son goes to school, okay, and let's say he moons everyone at the playground, okay? If he goes,
That's hilarious.
it is.
What if
well,
you just exist as a
see,
woman? You
exact-
shed hair in the shower.
Exactly, right?
That's disgusting. It's gross. Like,
Exactly.
Your
that's way
son
worse
will
than
have
mooning
better
to
chances
somebody.
with women because
Like,
he's the
if
kind
I
of
have to
guy
pull
that goes and
Chewbacca
moons
Stop
kids at the
soaking wet.
playground.
Hold on. If I have to pull Chewbacca soaking wet out of the drain, that's infinitely worse
You're not
than my
okay.
son
Very
mooning somebody.
funny.
It's like,
Yes,
it's gross.
I hear
It's
it.
gross.
Yeah, yes, it's
You're
gross.
sick.
Listen.
Like, don't tell
Listen to
me
what I'm-
you're
no,
the cleanest
no,
sex.
listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying, okay? Social expectations of how you're supposed to interact with people. I am less confident that most men that are available that I could get married to would have the appropriate response to their son behaving inappropriately at school, like cursing on the playground, like getting into a fight with another boy.
That's not inappropriate.
Yes,
would
it
the
is
other boy do?
inappropriate. It's inappropriate, okay?
Wait,
You
what's
should
the other
try-
boy
Can
need
you
to be
repeat
punched
that
in the
real
face?
quick?
Exactly. Thank you.
See, this is the reason, okay, why I think I
Wait,
this is exactly what
repeat
I'm-
it real quick. Repeat it real quick.
I brought up a couple of situations of inappropriate things kids do at school, like moon people, like get into
Eh.
fights, like curse in school, okay? Like
Look,
talk
mooning
about
people's
sex when
bad.
they're not when
Cursing
Wait,
they're
who
not
here has
supposed
been
to.
married?
Depends
Let's
on the
start with
reason for
that.
the
I think
fight.
that might be a good.
Yeah.
A good place.
Mooning
all-
people is relatively normal. Cursing,
No,
Yeah,
no
but
one
that's
really
silly,
cares.
dude.
And fighting, it
It's
depends on if
gross.
he's
Yeah, I
instigating the fight or if
see,
if he's fighting back. These are
no, okay,
What do
no.
you mean,
I
no?
don't want my son to learn to be socialized into saying, oh yeah, you should have hit him harder. You should have.
Also, you
beaten
want your
his
son to be a
ass."
pussy. Got it.
To be
That's
punched in
right.
the face.
Pussy.
Yeah, you want your son to be a
Right,
pussy.
you're right.
I
You
don't
really,
want that.
parents
Bitch
will get
game.
together.
Like,
That's
what are we
what
talking? I hate when
Sometimes
girls do
kids
this
do dumb
shit.
shit, you
I
gotta
hate when
punch
them.
girls
No.
do this. I hate when girls do this where they're like, I don't want my son to resort to listen, sometimes, especially in the male world, shit resorts to violence, especially when you're 14, 15,
believe-
16 and there's bullies
know
and
what?
there's whatever
Look.
involved. Like push comes to
I
shove,
believe
you can't go be a
no.
tattletale because that just makes your social life a lot fucking worse.
Cool.
And it
I
makes
don't
you
want
more.
my son to
Yeah,
go to
like,
jail,
you
okay,
guys, I
because
hate
his dad is
women.
encouraging him,
Women
like,
should
take
not
him
be
home.
around
No.
like allowed to raise sons. I swear to God, you guys are the
No,
worst.
okay,
You guys are the fucking worst.
he need okay. No, look,
Oh,
I do not want my
this
son.
pisses me
You
off
want your
so
son to go to
much.
jail? Yeah, you want him to go to jail? You want him to
It's
go
not
to
about jail. I'm
sit-
not in jail. None of us are in jail.
Well,
Just, I
that's
don't
what
want my son
One
to
of
be
the
a
reasons
pussy
you let them
either.
fight.
Jesus
One of the reasons you let them
Christ.
fight when they're young is you teach them when to stop punching.
There's a
Okay?
balance.
Sometimes
Yeah.
There
the
is a
guys on the
balance.
floor, you stop hitting them, right? Like
You don't teach him to be aggressive, but you don't. You also teach him that defense
he
is
goes
a
through his life, and
thing.
he's never
you
gotten into a
also-
fight. He doesn't know what the fucking limits are. He doesn't know his own strength. Then
That's why
he's
you
gonna
get
fucking
into
snap,
sports.
and he's gonna
Sports
fucking
are a
kill
healthy
somebody.
way.
You gotta get that
sports are
anger.
a healthy-
Hold on, you gotta get that
Yeah,
anger out
sports.
early. You gotta teach them their limits early.
Football.
You gotta teach
You
them
can
their
do that
strength
in other
early.
ways. You can do that
Well,
through. You can do that through joining the
no,
wrestling
No,
team.
they need to fight.
Football's
You
not
can do
gonna
that
replace
through boxing.
punching a guy in the
They need to
face.
fight like boys fight.
Sometimes you
That's
gotta
what
fight.
they do. It's
There
part
are
of
some
growing
ways-
up.
Sometimes you need to
Sorry.
get punched in the
ways for you.
face, right? It's totally
Sometimes
fine.
you fight your best
Yeah.
friends. Like sometimes
Listen, there are
communicate.
plenty of
No.
guys who haven't been punched in the face, and you can tell, right? You can tell
See,
that Destiny
you
has
guys
never
are
been
all
punched in
making
his fucking
case
face.
for why
Yes,
And like,
yes,
you know what? Some
100%.
people need to be punched in their
No.
faces. Like it's just like
Repeatedly.
true.
Okay,
I
know
needed to be
what-
punched in my face when I was growing up. Like I'm sure all of us
It's
have
healthy-
gotten
it's
a
healthy
fucking
for
punch
you.
to the face.
I think we
I
can.
never got punched in the
I
face.
think we can do a
You
data
never
collection
fought,
right
Corey?
now.
I'm
Never been
having
in
a
a fight?
talking stick. Shut up.
Hold on.
Come on,
Let's
Gibbs.
do
Let me
a
talk.
data.
Come
Let's
on,
do it.
dude.
Well,
You're
I don't
Canadian. That doesn't
No,
count.
no,
I just want to
no,
know.
okay?
I want to. Let's do a
Dude,
data
come on.
collection real quick.
Come
Y'all
on.
like
Wait,
data?
wait.
Let's do real
Come
quick
on.
data collection. Who here's been punched in the face? Right.
I have.
Okay. Who here has been in a relationship longer than 7 years before?
Seven.
Okay. Who here? And that's because 7
7
years.
years is kinda
Who
a long
here's been in a
time.
relationship? Who here's been married before? Right.
No.
It's interesting that the same group of people saying this shit are the ones who've been in relationships longer than 7 years. They're the ones who have been married. Even if my marriage didn't work
Well,
out,
you're
we have two
divorced.
marriages. Hold on. Even then, we have 2 marriages that have worked out, and that's also why with the 7-year itch.
Oh,
it's fine.
Ali
Mine
is
lasted
newly
over
married, I
7.
believe.
Sure,
Okay,
that's still
hold on,
2
my-
people.
my
You
long
just
with
gotta
2
get
people over
punched in the
7 years.
face, Corey.
Hold on. And then
That's
you
our
notice
shoe.
all these people are the same
Lactoid,
ones
you've
who
never
punch
been in a fight?
excluding
I'm
Brian.
coming over,
Like, I'm
Lactoid.
just
You can punch
saying.
me.
Okay, look, here's the thing.
There
Okay,
seems to be some data.
there is
supporting
there is a balance.
Very
between
scientific,
this, okay,
yeah.
the balance is you walk softly, but you carry a big stick. Okay, that doesn't mean that you should avoid like getting into a fight.
You can
or
tell
getting
that through their sweatpants.
in
Go ahead.
every single time.
Oh,
Okay.
God.
Oh Jesus Christ! Save that for the wrestling team. Okay, Jesus. Okay, all right. Look, I'm not saying that there aren't occasions for that, but those occasions should be exceedingly rare. Okay, you should not
They
be
usually
going on the
are.
playground picking a fight. Oh, I don't want. I want my son
Wait,
to
you
not get into
wait,
trouble.
you
I don't
just
want
said
him
it
to
right
make
there.
my
You don't want your son
people-
picking fights. You don't want your son to be the aggressor. That's completely different than I don't want my son getting into fights. As in a lot
Ali,
of the
how much
times it's
experience do you have with
defensive.
teenage boys? Teenage boys that get into fights. What do they say? Why do they say that they get into fights? Have you ever talked to one that gets into
Someone
into a
said
fight?
some stupid shit about their
I
mom
mean,
like
he
Yes,
was
9
a
times out of
teenager.
10.
yes, exactly.
Yeah, do you know
They
what that's
say-
yeah, do you
they-
know what that's
yeah,
indicative?
they-
That's indicative
they
of being
say-
harassed and bullied constantly verbally. And the idea that we're supposed to just allow these people to just consistently harass
No.
and verbally abuse people because violence is so fucking bad when it's physical. But the
Yes.
torment of someone day in
Correct.
and day out making fun of you or causing you torment, that means nothing. That does nothing. These people should be able to skirt by because God forbid that we lay a hand on them.
No.
These poor
Hey,
You
souls
notice
who are
the
It's not worth
bullies.
you getting a felony.
You
It's
notice
not
the
Oh
worth
my
it.
God!
Hold on,
Not,
you
you
notice
don't.
the
You,
reason-
how,
you know,
how
here's
many
a correlation.
felonies do
You
people
notice
have
the reason-
because of fights they got into in high school? What are you talking
Well,
about?
to Ali's point, you notice how when fighting in school and fighting your bullies became less and less acceptable, school shootings went up. Crazy how that worked out. I honestly, I 100%
Violence isn't
agree.
the answer.
I
I
100%.
believe
You're laughing.
Like,
This is
come on.
100% the reason I think that there's more school
This
shootings.
is so
You
Used
started
to-
empathizing
no,
with the bully
used to-
way too
used to
fucking
what
much.
happened is you
raised
we
hold on,
started-
at
used
home
to
by his
no
stand-up
used to
dad
you go
so he
out
can get
back.
into
No,
more
no, no, no.
fights.
Used to you go
Yeah,
out back.
I don't
You
think
get in a
so.
fight with the other guy, and then you go eat buy a burger for the person that lost, and then you have a combo. That's what you did. You whooped ass. You got it over. Now people build up this hate over months and years because they can't fight this guy. They're tormentor, and the tormentor never gains respect for the other guy because what's he gonna do? This other guy can't talk shit
Hey.
back. He's slower, weaker. But if he
Can I
punches
try
you in the
something?
face,
Can I
suddenly
try
I
something?
respect.
Gibbs, can I
Can I
talk?
just,
Okay,
can I
go
just
for it.
okay, go for it. Yeah, so Fair Queen, I just want to try. I want to ask you a simple question. I just want to kind of
Sure.
get an idea of like what you think is appropriate, right? So imagine you have a son.
Oh God.
He's at school, maybe middle school, elementary school, or something, and at lunchtime, some other kid slaps over his milk carton intentionally. Just like just to fuck with him, right? Knocks his milk on the floor. What do you think the appropriate response is there?
The appropriate response is to get up and to go to your teacher and to say, "Hey,
Okay.
that's
wrong. It's beat his ass.
Wrong.
That's the
Yeah,
end.
you
hate
better
women.
beat his ass. That's what you do.
This is what makes
No,
me hate women.
no,
This is
no.
what makes me hate women.
Hey, no, okay, absolutely
If
not.
that kid
Listen,
goes, if that kid goes
hey,
and gets a fucking teacher, he's gonna get fucked with even more by everybody.
Yeah, he's gonna
right?
get fucked
Just
with
fucking
even. I
find out.
hate
because
when girls
or when
say
he
that.
or when
He
he
needs to punch the kid in the face at least 3
no,
times.
no, he
Yeah.
does not. Okay, that's
Yes, he
terrible.
does.
That's terrible advice. Are you kidding me? Absolutely not. First of all, okay, like here's a
He
here's
needs
a
to learn
piece
to
of
assert his
here's
boundaries.
some news,
Okay?
okay? We all know, okay, it's often said around here that boys need their dad, okay? And that girls need their dad, okay? Well, guess what, okay? Boys need their mom, okay? Dad is there to tell you, to teach you to like to be to how to defend yourself and like to how to like not be a coward and to like what to do.
Mom's there to
and
teach you
hold
how to
yourself.
ruin your life.
Mom is there to tell you how to behave in public, and you
Yeah, and ruin
boys
your
need,
fucking life. Go tell the
boys
teacher
need
that the bully is making
Boys
fun of
need
you.
mom because if
Wait,
they
wait,
only
Fairy
have
Queen,
dad,
Fairy
this is
Queen.
the bullshit that they're gonna hear.
Fairy
So
Queen,
you,
Fairy Queen. I'll walk down that
men,
logic with you
young
because I've
boys-
done this
Young
before.
boys have to
That
be
kid's getting
civilized.
Wait,
jumped.
wait, wait, wait,
That's
wait,
what's
wait.
happening.
Gibbs.
He's
You
getting
are not
jumped.
going to
Yeah.
So the kid,
civilize
so the
them,
kid
okay?
goes and tells, so the kid
Mom
goes,
needs
your
to come
kid
in.
goes and tells the principal or the teacher that this kid slapped over the milk. What happens? The principal tells them they shouldn't do that anymore. Maybe they get detention, whatever it may be. Then the next day, the kid goes, he goes, "Hey, you're the reason I got detention," and bullies him more. And then like what? We just keep going and
Or they wait
telling
until
him.
after school and they fucking
Yeah.
jump him with their friends.
When the principal has no
Yeah,
say,
and
because
I know
after
that's what's
school
gonna happen,
at
'cause I would
3:15,
do
when I
that.
see you walking off the bus or walking towards the bus, you went and
Oh,
you ratted
no,
on me. You told me
no, I
what. That's
mean,
literally what
okay,
happens.
Okay,
I mean, I
here's-
know that
here's-
happens because
here-
I did it. I jumped kids after school if they thought
It's
they pulled the
happened to me.
teacher on me.
I
Like,
listened to
Hey.
my mom once. I told the principal, and then I had to get into. Guess what? I still had to get into a fight with the kid. One way
Okay,
it could have
you know
just
what-
been
it
me
only
defending
guarantees-
myself, and I could
I'm
have
gonna
saved
tell you.
myself the
I'm gonna tell you.
ridicule of being a tattle.
Okay, I'm
It's
going to
like-
tell you exactly what would happen. Okay, what would happen
Mhm.
is that mom would find out. Okay, mom would get very angry.
and then we'd
She
call
would
my
go
mama's
to the
boy and make fun of
principal.
him.
And what mom would probably do is she would probably demand to speak to the other kid's parent, and then the other kid's parent would get mad at her son for knocking over the kid's milk carton, and then other mom yells at the kid and humiliates and hurts the
And
kid.
then that kid
and
goes
now,
and beats up your son.
Yeah, and then hold on. not
Because he
only
just
that,
got
but
yelled
that's
at and
school
punished
because
at
of, hey,
home for knocking over
this
the
fucking
milk
pussy got
carton.
his mom to go to my house and yell at my mom. Like that's what
Yeah.
happens. Not only you're a fucking bitch, you're a bitch that got his mommy to go fight for him. Got his mom to go fight the other guy's mom.
And
sorry,
mind
this
you,
is
you're still gonna
elementary school.
and
We're
you
talking
still
about
have to fight the
elementary.
kid, and you still
you
have to
fucking
fight the
kidding
kid. You went and you told your mom.
I'm
Your mom went
sorry.
and tried to handle it,
Your
and
mom
2
at
days later, you
at
still
7
gotta
years
fucking
old,
fight
your
this
mama
kid.
is supposed to do that. That's what moms are supposed to do. At
Yeah,
7
but
years
all
old,
that
they're supposed
all
to
that does is make your life worse.
kid's
That
not
doesn't make the
supposed to tell his
situation
mom.
better
No, it
because once
doesn't.
again,
No,
you
the
still
mama
have
did
to
what
fight
she
the
was
kid
supposed to
when the
do.
kid comes and approaches you after school when there isn't teachers around, and now you have to fight the kid, or the kid's fighting you with his friends. That's the issue.
Yeah,
is that you
or-
guys
or-
think like it's solved
And
because
then
like
that
you said
kid
there's
gets
rules.
suspended from school and he
Hold on,
doesn't come
but
back.
No, he's
Fair
not.
Queen,
Not if you fight.
very-
Not if you
very
get into a
fair
fight
Queen.
after
Very
school. No, he's
likely-
not.
Hold on, very
Yes,
If you
quick.
get into
yes,
a fight
that
after
is
school,
true.
you are
That
not
mother gets
suspended
upset.
from
Absolutely not
school.
true.
That mother gets
That is
upset
not-
that you showed up at her house and told her how to raise her fucking kid, and then you start fighting the fucking mother, right? Then you have two moms
Yeah,
fighting,
that's also happens.
and then
That happens all
then
the
you
time.
get beat up, and then now that kid mom
We
kid's
are
mom
not
beat
getting
you up,
beat up,
and then he
okay?
he beat you
Oh,
up.
that
No,
happens
like,
what
all the
are you
time.
talking about? Okay,
That
nobody
was
gets
like my high school
Because you're a
experience.
family
People
of
get their ass
bitches.
beat all the time.
No,
Yeah.
okay. Mom picks up the phone. Mom has a stern conversation with the other mom. They come to some sort of agreement.
Hey,
okay,
bitch,
where,
don't,
like,
don't tell me to raise my
Well,
fucking
do
kid.
you think this
Yeah,
world is a
yeah,
TV
exactly.
show?
That's
That's
what it is.
exactly.
Don't tell me to raise my
Do you
fucking
think
kid.
this
What
is
the
a
fuck do you think you're
sitcom?
calling me? Yeah, that didn't happen. Fuck you. My kid says something different. Blah blah blah. Like, what are you talking
Yeah.
about?
Okay,
You think
well
they're
then,
just
And
gonna
if he
accept
did do
what
it,
you
and
say,
if
some random ass
even
lady
if
on
it-
the
Well,
even if
then
he
we have a
did do it,
conversation with
even
the
if he did do
principal,
it,
and
fuck
then
you.
like your kid gets jumped
Like-
after school. Why do you think that kids get suspended if they get into a fight outside of school?
because it happens. I've seen it happen. Okay. It happens all the time. I'm a teacher. I can tell you it happens. Okay. When kids like harass each other on social media, when they cause fights outside of school and it becomes a thing and teachers find out about it, kids can absolutely get suspended at school. Happens all the time.
Man,
this
you
is why we
guys
have
are just
mass
you guys
100%.
really
You
you're
just
doing
hate
a
your
number.
kids.
You guys are
That's-
doing a number
yeah.
on young boys, and then you
That's what
wonder
it is.
why young
Secondly-
men can't
Oh,
talk to
Jesus
women
Christ.
because look at the
Hey.
lengths of shit they have to go through because they're
Nobody
being
here is
feminized to the
saying.
fucking
Nobody
This is the
extreme.
here.
right
Nobody here.
Ali's absolutely right.
Nobody here is saying, at least I am not saying, okay, that boys don't need their dad and that there isn't a value to being able to defend yourself. What I'm saying is, okay, is that there's also a value to like when somebody is being horrible to you, to straighten your back back and to ignore it and to hold your tongue and to move on and
Have
to
you
not
ever
say
been in a
report to the
anything about it.
authorities.
Mary Queen, have you ever been in a
They're
fight?
just
Like,
scared.
has somebody ever tried to like fight you for no reason? Just like,
Yes.
like honestly. Okay.
Yes.
And how many times did you get punched? Did you black out? Did you like did you go unconscious? Because yeah,
Did you
because
walk away?
did you walk away? Because I know many kids growing up that got knocked out by other kids fighting in school. They got jumped. Like, this is a regular thing. And so women in general don't have to do that. They don't have to live through that experience. Men, it's kind of part of it. You would go and you would just for fun, like not even like we're fighting. You're just gonna go box in old buddy's basement and you knock each
Slap
other out
boxing,
just
yeah.
to see
No.
who's the most manly.
You know
and
what?
like, guess what? You
I
might
don't
get like,
care.
and so
I don't
you don't.
give a
I know
fuck
you don't
about
care. I know you don't. I know you don't. I
Yeah,
know
this
you
is
don't-
something
you
I don't know
I
about.
you
Like,
don't
I've done
care.
this too
No,
in my
hold
high
on.
school days,
I know you
boxing
don't
gloves in
care,
the
but
basement.
this is the problem. This is the problem.
Going to
Yeah,
jail
well,
is not
all
worth
tonight,
it,
all
okay? It's
tonight,
not
hold
worth
on,
it to go
hold
to
on,
jail.
it's not,
No.
you're not even gonna go to jail.
Why do you
You're not
keep
even gonna
talking
go to
about
jail? Hold on,
jail?
Dude,
hold on,
juvie
if
ain't
we sit
shit.
down, if we sit down in a group and we're all boxing or whatever, right? And
My
somebody gets
kid's
knocked
not
out,
going to juvie
nobody's
just because you're going to call him a bunch of
nobody's
names.
gonna
Why
get
do you
juvie
keep
for
talking
that.
about
Nobody
juvie?
will
I've
get
never been to
juvie for
jail
that.
or juvie.
No, nobody will get juvie for that. Listen, this is what I'm talking about. You've clearly
Yes,
lived
they
some kind
will.
of sheltered life.
Yes,
Hold on,
they
you
will.
clearly they won't. I
Yeah,
know
you have to
thousands of kids
shelter
have
Yes,
it.
they
them.
Listen,
will.
I'm telling you right now that you're sitting here, you push
Mary
things
Queen's
to
the
a
mom that
sheltered
sends kids to
view.
juvie because she's like,
Here's
someone's
the
bullying
problem.
my son and
Here's-
calls the cops.
Yeah, it's literally this is the cause
Someone
of
wants
why
to
men
fight
aren't
my
men
son, calls
and
the
when people are
cops.
suffering, because we're sitting here sending people to school and these school teachers are saying, oh no, under no circumstances is violence ever the answer. Sometimes violence is
almost-
actually
yeah.
the question and the
No.
answer is when.
Hold-
That's the
can
problem.
I
Like,
can I find a middle ground here? Can I try to find that?
Well,
Right. Okay.
You try.
So one, like, I absolutely agree that sometimes you you got to throw a punch, right? Like, it's gonna happen, even if you're going to lose the fight, right? Because that's going to be a situation too, right? Absolutely the case. But like, I still like
sometimes, especially if you're gonna lose,
with the men that are here, though. So yeah, especially
because then we don't respect you more afterwards. Like they know you weren't gonna win, and they're like, hey, this guy fought.
But still, like I'm talking like FQ, right? She's talking to a panel of men who, as far as I know, and maybe I'm incorrect, you guys can let me know, right? That now that you are growing up, right? Like, you don't resort to violence, right? Like, that's like really is like the last.
As much in your 30s.
That's the last resort, right? Like, you all, again, you let me know if I'm incorrect on this, right? You all will like use all kinds of other like conflict resolution methods, including walking away, right? Rather than actually getting a physical.
I'm probably not walking away.
Racco does have guns, but like,
I'm not giving anyone my back.
He's a shoot on sight type of
I'm
guy.
not pulling on
Blackwood-
for just some kind of disagreement, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but
I'm not
even
walking
then,
away
there's
from a
rules-
disagreement either. I'm
there's
not giving
rules
anyone my back.
as to when you can
Yeah,
pull a
that's the
weapon,
issue,
right?
Brian. Like after you become an adult, you can go to prison. You fuck up your whole life. You got too
Yeah.
much to lose. You can't do it, unfortunately.
But
Everyone's-
but
but
hold on,
also
like,
you
you
one,
have
of the,
to-
one of the times I wish I was broke, actually.
yeah.
Well, sometimes in Texas we have mutual conflict, but like on top of that,
But
though,
hold on.
it's
Jail
because
could be an
you use
upgrade, right?
violence, you
But
mature.
you have to start teaching boys, right? Like, hey, at some point there are other ways of like conflict resolution other than immediately resorting to violence. And I
Well,
think
that was
that's part of
Dewey's
what
point,
FQ
is you
trying
teach
to
them their
say
limits
here,
and you
right?
teach them
That's
when
like
to
not
use.
an unreasonable statement to say, because yes, like sure, right now when you're young you can get away with a lot, right? But when they age, there are huge consequences, which all of us have navigated in avoiding, right? So that's a reasonable statement.
Yeah, but
saying.
self-defense is self-defense. One, two. Me and Doobie and Gibbs have also this to be like, no one's saying that your son. No one wants to raise their son to be an aggressor, right? No one wants their son to be a bully.
Oh my
This is
God,
all one
dude.
in talks of retaliation, two, bullying, and two. Doobie said this earlier. You teach them their limits. You teach them like what the fuck to do and like when shit comes into play. But that only happens when it happens. You don't really get to like tell someone, hey, when this situation is happening, go tell a teacher, because at the end of the day, like, none of that
It's
shit
also-
is how it works. It doesn't work like step by step.
But it should be
Confrontation
treated
It
happens.
as-
also establishes like social hierarchy.
Wait,
That's
a
why I bring up the, like,
confrontation
boxing
happens, it can
thing.
escalate immediately. So sometimes there isn't time to go tell a teacher. Two, telling a teacher is not always a viable solution. It can escalate, right? It can make the situation worse. You do have to have better. You have to learn interpersonal skills and learn how to handle that situation. But sometimes, and especially when you're a young boy, when you're between like in your middle school and you're kind of like your high school age, fighting it out is kind of like, even with your friends, there are situations where like I want my friend to go left, he wants to go right. Like we're not coming to a fucking mutual decision. The only way it's going to happen is I'm going to have to push him my way, or he's going to have to push me his way. And it's happened before. Your friend gets drunk, you guys get into a fight, whatever it may be. You have to be able to have these situations. And part of being a guy is knowing that, like, hey, I should be able to get into a fight. I shouldn't be the aggressor, but I should also be able to get into fights with people and get over it afterwards. You learn these things. The only way you learn them is by doing them when you're young.
$2 for my listening library. Doobie, you can be broke. Give me your money.
No. All right.
Okay. You have to have these experiences when you're young. You have to make the mistakes when you're young, to Doobie's point, because when you're young, you can't go to jail. You're not going to lose money. So you learn that experience. And then hopefully you have a dad who's like, yeah, you don't fight for any old reason, but sometimes, yeah, you do have to fight.
Okay. However, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. But at the same time, okay, you have to be able to learn to ignore it when other people are snickering at you, when other people say shit or whispering in the back of the room, to not react violently every time somebody says something that you don't like or does something that you don't like. That is a part of being an adult, and you have to be socialized out of that. A lot of young boys, very young.
What if I was to say call someone like the N-word? Would I deserve an ass whooping? If I'm like, you N-word, and would I deserve getting an ass whooping? Yeah.
Kids. Okay, so
well, hold on. If I told an African, if I'm another kid, and I told another kid in the class, African boy, I was like, yeah, you little N-word.
I'd want my kid to get his ass kicked for that.
I would tell my kid, if I was that parent, you better beat that boy bloody. Just like if someone called me a spick, I would whoop his ass. It's that simple, bro. You're not gonna sit here and tell me there's no. I know you wouldn't because you're dumb in regards to raising men. Like, I'm sorry, it's just the facts. Like, I love you. I love you, but you're just wrong fundamentally. Like, this is how men fundamentally
a lot of
grow
kids,
as men.
a lot of kids ruin their lives by being impulsive, by acting violently, and by not
Some
learning
kids
to
ruin their
control it.
lives.
A lot of them do. A lot of them ruin their lives by being impulsive and angry, and they have to be trained not to react to every little thing. Violence should be a last resort. It should not be something.
It's true.
To FQ's point, like, my mother was the one who told me, because the example you guys brought up previously, right? Like, someone says something about your mother. Well, kids, especially when I was young, right? I guess through all of time, have like, attacked my mother, right? Like, that was the insult, right? They went after my mother. It made me so angry, right? And I felt like I had to respond immediately. But my mother was the one who told me, like, well, first of all, they don't even know me, right? Like, what they called me a slut. Like, these people literally couldn't pick me out of a lineup, right? So, like, why are you like concerned with their opinions, right? Like, they're doing this just to get a rile out of you. Like, don't respond, right? It's perfectly fine. And then from there, that like was a panacea. Like, as soon now, whenever I hear that, like, I laugh it off, because, like, of course not. Like, you don't know anything about my wonderful, beautiful, amazing mother. So I don't know, man. Like,
you learn these social skills, right? You learn them. You have to have the experiences in order to learn them, right? There's a difference between like ignoring it and then it going away, right? Versus other people who are like consistently pestering you, right? You can ignore the person who knocks the milk off your carton, knocks the milk off your table. They do it once, you ignore it, they leave you alone, and then you're done. The issue is that a lot of the times people get picked on. They get picked on specifically, and things stick with them. People start to hyperfixate on like one individual, right? So if something's happening consistently on a day in day out, right? Sometimes the solution is, well, I mean, if you're going to consistently come up to me every day and call my mom a slut, well, you're going to get punched in the face, and then maybe you won't call my mom a slut anymore. It's really kind of how it goes.
And then it also teaches the aggressor something. It teaches the aggressor, maybe don't be a bully if you get your ass beat by somebody. Like, if you never get your ass beat and you just keep bullying kids, guess what? Eventually you get your ass beat, you stop being a bully.
Doobie?
I feel like we have a disconnect because women don't live in the same world that men do growing up. Like with young men, a lot of things are centered around physical dominance, physical violence, aggression, right? It's like there's a competition there, right? That boys go through. I think women go through the same thing, but like more on social shit, like who your friends are, how popular you are, like how pretty you are, like shit like this, right? And I remember growing up with I have 3 sisters, right? All younger than me. The oldest one is, I think, like 3 or 4 years younger than me, right? And I distinctly remember, right? Because I got in fights all the time in school and out of school. But of course, I never hit a girl, right? That was one of the things. Don't ever hit a girl, no matter what, right? And I distinctly remember telling my sisters sometimes, like, they were just being really fucking annoying, right? Like, if I wanted to, I could pin you down, put my fingers in your mouth, and rip your face open. You couldn't do shit about it, right? So like, stop fucking with me. Like seriously, like shit like this, because women just don't understand when they're fucking with a guy.
Yeah,
what
you
guys capable of, right? So like, I just feel like that's the disconnect, right? We just live in different worlds.
They don't have any expectation of like physical violence. Like there isn't like.
Are you kidding me? Okay, hang on. Whoa.
That might be a little too much.
Yeah, that's way too much. Okay.
On average, like wait.
Nope, I'm talking now. Okay.
So they should suspect an execution from fucking Street Fighter. That's what they should. That's what they should expect.
Mortal Kombat is what you mean, but yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, sure.
FQ.
Well, okay. I'm saying that there is something that women. Okay, I mentioned this before at the very beginning. Okay, dads are important for boys, and they are important for their daughters. They bring something specific to kids that kids specifically need from their dad. But mothers bring a similar dyad to their sons. Okay. Boys need their moms, okay? Boys need their moms to tell them how to behave appropriately, how to have good manners, not to burp at the dinner, like when you're trying to like get a raise somewhere, to like how to like to not be weird, to not say sexual crude things like when you're around other women. These are the types of things that mom has to teach, okay? You are probably not going to get that from your dad. And your dad probably will say a lot of the things probably that most of you are saying. But you also need mom to say, okay, to talk to the principal, call the police, go to the authorities, use it as a last resort. This is ridiculous.
Hold on. Counterpoint, single father homes do way better than single mother homes. Crazy how that's working. I just got to say, we have way more single mother homes, crime rate way higher. Yeah. But when we look at statistics for single father homes, those kids do good. So it seems like we actually don't need the mother. Sounds like, once again, big hole in your flaw. And that's the stats-based argument.
A hole in your flaw.
So actually, I can counter this a little bit, okay? So
a little bit.
That's what happens when you don't do no reading.
Real world matches the sticks. Yeah, we don't.
No reading.
I want to touch on my point. I want to touch on my point. The whole like women have a less what's called. Have any of you guys ever been with a girl and like some guy in a different car does some stupid shit and she starts yelling at him as if she's gonna be the one who has to fight him? Like when a girl just like mouths off at like in random public all the time, especially when they're drunk. That's kind of what I mean by like there's no like girls don't expect that they're gonna say something and get hit. It just doesn't happen like enough for it to be like an actual expectation, which is why girls typically mouth off a lot to guys. Now, I'm not saying it happens all the time. I'm not saying there's an expectation of like or any threat of violence like that comes from guys at all. I'm just saying on average, like there's a reason why girls typically do mouth off. And
Fairy Queen, do you know what continental style versus American style like eating is? Like when you're holding the knife and the fork? I'm curious.
I don't actually. No, I don't.
Thank God. Okay. So this is you just triggered the memory of like one of the first arguments I ever had with my wife. Okay. Oh, this is when we were dating.
Okay.
We were at a dinner, I think with our friends, right? It's a fancy ass restaurant. Now I went to dinner with our friends. And apparently, I was not using my knife and fork properly because you're supposed to cut the meat, and then set the knife down, switch hands with a fork, and then you do it, right? Apparently, that's written down somewhere in some fucking tablet from God, right? And if you don't do it that way,
that high class user manual. I'm like,
why the fuck would I do that? I already have the fork in one hand, then I have the other hand. I'll just fucking eat it, right? Like, what are you talking about? Like, and it's like this whole thing. Oh no, you're doing it wrong. It looks a little class when you do it like that. According to who? We just went on and on and on for like 2 weeks, right? She sent me these fucking videos of these like gay guys on TikTok, right, talking about this is how you eat peas. You scoop it on the back of the
You scoop the corn on the back of the fork and eat it. Fucking idiots.
Who the fuck came up with this?
Did he have a British
British high class fucking retards?
Some fucking idiot.
Oh my God.
He decided this like 200 years ago. Fuck you. I'll eat how I want to eat, right? So like this is like this kind of shit. It just doesn't make any sense to me, right? It just doesn't.
I think it's primarily about the logic, not the rule. Okay, it's about showing respect to other people. That's the whole purpose.
It's my food. How I want to eat. Okay, we respect each other by letting each other eat how I want to eat. Okay, that's it. Like, if I want to eat the fucking steak with my spoon, I'm gonna do it. Right? And
elbows on the table was a rule that I never really understood. Like, why can't
I? Yeah, you can't have your elbows on the table. Like, it's a whole spiel.
You can't be comfortable when you're eating.
Because it's not
Why
polite.
do I have to
but
wipe?
FQ,
Like, what
if
the
you
fuck?
didn't realize, if you haven't realized, it's like women are doing these things that like it's just they make no sense. They're just arbitrary
It's
rules
just
for the sake of being
for no fucking
arbitrary
reason.
and for the sake of
it's
saying
not
like,
for
no,
no
this is
fucking reason.
classy and this isn't, and then you want us to like
Okay,
fall
yes,
into it, and it's
look,
weird.
okay, whether you let me just put it to you this way, okay? Whether or not you think it makes any sense or whether or not you think it's good or bad, okay? You have all at least agreed with me that this is something that largely that women a way that women are different in comparison to men. That women do care about these things more so than men. So if you're a man and if you wish to date a woman, okay, you should consider some of these things like when you are trying to court the opposite
We
sex.
agreed, like
Not
some
really. I'm
neurotic
not gonna
women
lie.
believe that
When
men
you
are
do
these
that
things.
kind of
That
shit,
makes
girls,
all sense.
when you do that kind
you're
of
using
shit,
the wrong
girls
fucking
think you're
spoon
gay.
at dinner,
One,
you
or
give
they
a fuck.
think you're way too feminine when you're sitting here catering way too much to like. As a guy, you shouldn't know that like you shouldn't know what fork to use and switch the hands, because honestly, what the fuck is like the point of you knowing
Unless
that?
you learned it.
I'm
A
not
girl
online
does not
saying-
see that as
I'm not
a girl
saying-
doesn't see it as
I'm
attractive.
not-
A girl doesn't see it as polite. If
I
anything,
am not
girls
saying you have
want
to be
guys to be a
insane
little
with
bit around
standards.
the rough.
I'm saying like basic
bounce, guys.
basic
See ya,
forms of
buddy.
etiquette.
Bye,
Like
Lagwood. Take care.
don't burp, like dress appropriately, be kind, be
Girls don't care
respectful,
about that shit.
compliment.
All right, everybody. I gotta bounce on off, but I'm gonna write on out just to keep the content going. And I will catch you all next time. I gotta get up really early, otherwise I'd be staying longer. Have a good night.